Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Slice of Gaming podcast for December 14th, 2024. We are recording a day after the big Game Awards show that everyone watched, and surprisingly, most people enjoyed. This is one of those years that the Game Awards definitely seems to have gotten a lot more of a positive rep comparatively to especially last year, and like where a lot of negativity was thrown around regarding the show, obviously for good reason for the issues pertaining it. But this year seems like people are a lot more excited to talk about it and discuss everything that was revealed. And that's what we're going to do here. I got a very fun squad for here. I am joined by my good friend, Moon.
Wow, I got first billing. Okay, hi.
I mean, I don't know, Moon. you expect yourself not to get first billing?
No.
That's crazy. I'll make sure to put you first at every other time then.
All right.
I'm also joined by Jat.
Hello. It's good to be here. That was a great show, not just for games, but for everything around it.
It's awesome to hear. We're also joined by Jack.
That's going to get confusing, Jat and Jack.
Yes.
All right, one of you change your name. And then also, I'm finally joined by Bob. Hello, Bob.
Hello, Wolf. Amir Savat was supposed to be here tonight. He couldn't make it, so I'm gonna take his place for tonight and tonight only.
I'm glad you said that because I actually invited Jeff Keighley. He completely postponed. God damn. Okay.
Hopefully you didn't pay him enough.
Yeah, really. All right. Well, we got to talk about the big Game Awards show, but we also have some small other news tidbits here and there that I want to go over. Anyways, if you guys want to catch us, we're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever your favorite podcasts are found. Like the podcast, any type of support helps. Follow us on Twitter at A Slice of Gaming. But I think we're ready to just jump right into it. Guys, what did we think of the show? I want to go around the horn here. Numbers scored and just overall feelings around the show. I'm going to actually start with you, Bob.
Oh, yeah. You know what? That's fair. Because I feel like I've definitely been the biggest hater of one Mr. Keighley and his award show. And I've been already on the record to be like, you know what? I got to put my pitchfork down this year. I think he addressed a lot of the criticisms that I think have been present in the past. Now, it's still not perfect, and I think there still needs to be a little more about the awards, but I got to give that a 10. Like, you can't not give that show a 10, I feel like.
Hell yeah. Jack, what about you? How are you feeling about the show?
I'm really positive. I stayed up late to watch it, and I didn't regret it. It was a lot of fun.
Hell yeah. What score would you give it?
Maybe a 9. 9 out of 10.
9 out of
Jack,
10.
I just said, how can you not give it a 10?
I mean, there were
Jack found a
points
way.
in it where I was a little bit like, come on, we're 3 hours in.
I will. Okay, Jack, I will say, yeah, you're 100% right there, but I do think for what you got as an announcement, I would have
This is
given the show an 11. Because I did not think that would happen. We'll talk about it, obviously.
Listen.
Moon, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Granted, my memory of past shows is like absolute crap. So but I just based on feelings, I feel like this is the most walked away from the Game Awards going, that was probably their best show. Like, I can probably think of all the others were like, oh, that was fine. But no, this one actually feels like, oh, this was a show. So yeah, I'll have to go with that 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 ranking for it.
Awesome to hear. And then finally, Jat, how about you?
Yes. So I think I agree with like what all of us are saying basically, and that's that the show as a whole has definitely improved in like the past several years, like with a lot of really good reveals. Actually letting the like the people who win the awards actually letting them speak for proper time, and then also acknowledging like obviously we're gonna get into it, but like some of the other like issues outside of like the games and everything. And yeah, I mean, I only got like a few announcements for me, but I'd also give it a solid 9 out of 10, just as a show, because I do agree with Jack that it is a very long show.
Yeah, and I kind of share my own sentiments with all of you. I think this is I think this is by far and away the best Game Awards. Not even really a debate, and I've been watching since like 2018, so I have been like a fan of the show and a big critic of a lot of the issues that surround it. And I've always kind of been like, always saying like, yeah, whatever. You know, at the end of the day, these are award shows. I just don't really think award shows are that serious. That who cares at the end of the day has always been my viewpoint on it. And this year, I feel like Jeff Keighley made a good point to show, like, hey, actually, we do care, and we're going to actually show you guys why we care. I gave the speeches the time they needed to really talk about why they did this stuff they did. I think Sven Vinky had an incredible speech right before he gave Goaty to the GOAT Astrobot. I can't believe it. Dude, I'm so happy. We'll talk about that later. But all the things I really wanted to won the awards they won. So I'm pretty satisfied for the most part in that way. I think it just comes down to there's just little things. I feel like he goes by. There's still too many awards that he just kind of like rattles off way too fast. That's one piece of criticism I would also put in. And there is still that middle stretch where just you feel like this year it was definitely the Hoyoverse games where you saw those like gotcha games. And it's like, wow, all of these look the exact same. But other than that, I mean, I think this is an incredible show. This is as good as Game Awards gets in my eyes. So yeah, I'm kind of right there with you, Bob, at 10 out of 10. But actually, I want to talk about the individual announcements. Now, we're not going to go over everything because this would be a 3-hour podcast. And also, I want to avoid like trying to just talk about every single cool thing. Because we're also going to talk about some of the Game Awards kind of like next week with other guests. But I think this week I wouldn't talk about just individual announcements that for all of us really stood out. Listen, I'll start. I think it's obvious which one stood out for me. Is it obvious for you guys?
Best fighting game.
I'm between two. I'm not sure, Wolf.
Which one do you think got the bigger pop off for me?
It's got to be Team Eco, right?
Number 2.
Damn. Okay. All right. That's fine.
I'm sorry, Bob. It's an Elden Ring. I gotta get hype for an
That's
Elden
fair.
Ring.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Elden Ring Night Rain looks fucking insane, and I'll say this. I saw the trailer. I was like, oh, interesting, like a PvP raid type Elden Ring game, and I thought it sounded cool. I thought it sounded interesting, but I was like, okay, sell me more on it. And then I read the IGN article and been looking around like a lot of other places and reading like what people have noticed, and I'm like 10 out of 10 excited for this game. This looks absolutely fucking unreal. FromSoft, I feel like they just keep on innovating in so many different ways, and now they're like actually taking a look at their multiplayer and saying, what can we do to improve our multiplayer experience for our players? And this feels like just a whole game dedicated to a lot of the criticisms that they've had, for their righteous criticisms, in my opinion, of their multiplayer and the way that it works, and saying, hey, you know what, we're just going to make a whole ass multiplayer game. And if you read about it, it's like, this is directed by someone not Miyazaki. I forget who the director is. It'll come back to me. But he's basically asked, it's like, hey, can I do like this weird project using the Elden Ring world? And Miyazaki gave him the okay. And I think it's a sign to come for FromSoft, is that they're willing to just delegate projects to other people within the company. And these other people are just as talented as Miyazaki in a lot of ways. So getting so many different other ideas from Software is absolutely incredible. And also the fact that it comes out next year after we just got a massive DLC expansion, it just goes to show they are unreal with their fucking work ethic. And also, they really want to go get nominated for another year in a row. So I respect the hustle there. But yeah, I'm absolutely ecstatic for this game.
Yeah, I definitely, as someone who has played at this point a decent amount of the FromSoft, Dark Souls, Elden Ring, Sekiro franchises, this is pretty exciting. I think it's also really cool how, like you said, that like they just keep innovating and they want to do more, and they don't want, they keep trying to stretch their boundaries, and like they're willing to take risks, because they could very easily just say, hey, we're gonna make Elden Ring 2 and Sekiro 2 and Armored Core 7 and just keep going. And it's like, no, they still want to do spin-offs. It reminds me of like Pokemon with Legends Arceus, where it's like, oh cool, they're like starting to kind of branch out and kind of do spin-offs and of similar things. And I think my favorite part of that announcement was twofold. One, you saw. Well, okay. I guess I'll kind of lump these in together, but I will say I was enjoying that trailer, and then I saw the Nameless King, and my
Let's
eyes
go.
just. It's like I just I got PTSD, and my jaw dropped. I'm like, oh no, he's back. Somehow he has returned.
Dude, I got so upset. I'm like, what the fuck is Nameless King doing back?
And just like see, so he's from Dark Souls 3. You saw like a weapon from Bloodborne. You saw movement from Sekiro. Like they're somehow
Yeah.
integrating all of their different properties into this, just giant, culmination where it's a spin-off. They can make up whatever rules they want, and so to take all of the best elements from some of their games over the last 10 15 years, I think that's just a fantastic idea.
Yeah, no, I mean it's just like what you said. It's an idea that's so like innovative and interesting that it's like they didn't need to do this. Like you said, Bob, like they could just say, okay, we're gonna go to Armored Core 7 now. We're gonna go to Elden Ring 2. It's like, no, actually, we're just gonna try something completely brand new for our studio. So yeah, I can't wait. Also, dude, Bob, the fucking cover art, so sick. Like their
very
art
good.
design is so good.
It's very good.
Moon, I want to go to you next. What was your kind of big highlight?
Yeah, it's interesting that I didn't really have a game that is like, oh, this is my game. This is like my big announcement of the show. I mean, I added like probably 18 games to my wish list, so I'm interested in most of the games that were announced, but I don't think there was like one big standout. The one I keep thinking about is freaking Shadow Labyrinth. I don't know why.
Oh yeah, the Pac-Man game.
Yeah,
What the hell is
Evil
going on
Pac-Man.
there? I love that.
And the one question I have about it is, why is Pac-Man not in the title anywhere? And I read a comment somewhere that someone might be pointing out that maybe it's not just Pac-Man, maybe it's a bunch of other Bandai Namco properties will also make an appearance, but Pac-Man's like the basic one, the first one that you get, so they're kind of
Fucking
hiding
Cubert.
that. Yeah, so
Cubert,
probably do like
yeah.
a bunch of other appearances. So that's
Maybe
why
they're
it's
like
not
the
called
bosses.
maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
So yeah, so that's why it's not labeled as a Pac-Man game. It's like its own IP with Shadow Labyrinth. So I'm gonna run with that theory until we learn more. But yeah, then there's also like Dispatch and a bunch of other things. I'm like, oh, this is all really cool. 2025 is absolutely overloaded. So
We're fucked, man. We're not gonna be able to play all these. Time to pick and choose. But yeah, Shadow Labyrinth, would you say is yours, or do you have another one that just stood out more?
that or Dispatch or
Oh, which one was Dispatcher? That sounds familiar.
It was a
Split Fiction.
superhero game from the Telltale devs.
Yeah,
Oh, that's such a moon game.
Yeah, the one.
Split Fiction also looks amazing.
Yeah.
So somewhere around those.
Joe, were you gonna say something?
No, I was gonna say Dispatcher. It's the one with Jesse Pinkman from Breaking Bad.
Yeah, bitch.
Yeah.
Nice.
I am interested to kind of see like what the overall opinion on that one is when it comes out, because it was funny seeing the voice cast. It's like, holy shit, they actually got a lot of people for this thing, including like YouTubers and whatnot. But yeah, I don't know. It's like it was a weird way they introduced it, but people seem to be very into the trailer, and it feels like those Telltale style games kind of like, I don't want to say lost their luster, but
they died a hard death after
Yeah.
Telltale
kind of
mainly. Yeah.
ran them into the ground by releasing like 3 games a year.
Exactly, yeah, and so I think like maybe hopefully something like that can like try to bring it back for.
What's interesting is it's the tags on the game on Steam listed as a point and click, but also a strategy game. So there's going to be like other things to it than just picking dialogue options and making choices. So it'll be interesting to see how that is a part of it.
You could kind of see it in the trailer. And granted, maybe this is just me being Helldivers coded since I've been playing it so much lately, but like you could see like little mini games, because you're like a dispatcher for these superheroes and you're on the computer like doing stuff, and it did seem like you have to like pick synergies for who you set out there, and then little mini games for like when they're on the call and everything. So it does seem a little bit more interactive than I think your standard Telltale game would be, and that is something that interests me more than just like a straight up dialogue driven walk around game. And these are the kind of games where like a big cast like that can succeed, because I always think of, oh my god, what is the name? What is the Payday clone that had the big cast last
Rocky
year?
The
Crime Boss.
Oh,
Yes, Crime Boss Rocket
City.
City is like, that is the worst example of getting a star-studded cast, because it's like, yeah, you spent all your money on the cast, but for this, I think it plays into its strengths.
Yeah, no, I'm interested. That had a 2025 date, right?
Yeah, which was weird because it was for some reason a lot of like the game tracking apps that I used listed as 2026, and then I got super bummed about it. And then when I was rewatching some reaction videos on YouTube, the trailer actually says 2025. So all my despair was suddenly relieved. Like, oh, good, this actually is a 2025 game.
Ja, I want to move on to you. What's like your big highlight?
Oh, yeah. So I've actually got a couple now that I think about it, but I'm gonna go with one that I think is like maybe a bigger highlight just by a little bit. It was when Joseph Fares came on stage and he revealed Split Fiction. Oh man, I I really enjoyed both of his other games, A Way Out and It Takes Two. So Split Fiction looks like something that's very very creative and like it just looks like you can tell from this game that he and his team makes where they're just fans of video games and they like this idea of like let's take some concepts that we liked in some other video games and we'll incorporate it in here while still telling a really beautiful narrative and having like really good art direction. And that's basically what It Takes Two was as well. And the only thing I'm worried about on this in this is that because the narrative is really good, for those who played the game, there's a scene with an elephant in It Takes Two. I'm worried about something like that in this game.
Definitely.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, someone pointed this out. I was watching a stream about the Game Awards, and they were saying, I don't remember who it was, but they were like, yeah, what's so cool about Hazelight and specifically It Takes Two is that they give you so many different like gameplay ideas, and there's like 100 different things that you could do in that game, and then they effectively all of them play well, and it's not like a thing of like jack of all trades, master of none. It's like, no, they're all like, they could flesh out into their own like singular game, but it's like, no, it's just a small mini game and then you go into the next one. And that's the coolest thing about what Hazelight's doing with their co-op experiences. So yeah, this game's awesome. And also the friend pass, which is like one of the most consumer friendly things ever. And guess what? It does not affect sales because It Takes Two sold 20 million copies. Incredible.
Yeah. Split Fiction, I think, just looks like It Takes Two on steroids. Like they clearly had something. I mean, they won Game of the Year that year, and won a lot of awards. And they're like, how do we expand that? And how can we build a story around something that really just opens up a world of possibilities? And it just looks so much fun and so fascinating, and really just like, it is kind of funny because it's almost like ADHD the game, where it's like, oh, you like this, all right, next thing, like, okay, now we're doing this, now we're doing that. And I think that just like really plays well right now, and they're really the only studio doing a game like this, and I love that. I think they have found their niche, and they're gonna stick to it. And don't worry, Jack, we're gonna play with you, all right? You're not gonna be left out this time.
Excellent. I'm glad to hear it.
Oh yeah.
Jack, I promise you, we are going. Wait, which one of us is going to play with him, Bob?
We're all gonna take turns.
Yeah.
Respect that. Respect. Yeah, no, I mean, I can't wait. It's gonna be absolutely incredible, and also just like 3 months away, which is just like, really,
yeah,
like, that soon?
Yeah.
Just
and it's also not priced AAA. It's a $50 game.
Oh yeah. No, I mean yeah, $50. Damn, what a game! Love that studio. Hazelight's incredible.
Yeah.
Bob, I think I know your answer.
Do you know my answer? Let's flip the game back on you, Wolf. What's my answer?
Okay.
Screamers.
Outer Worlds 2?
Yeah, it is.
See, that's what I mean.
It was between that and another one, but because Outer Worlds 2 is more substantial and had a genuine surprise factor in it, it's gonna be Outer Worlds 2.
I mean, I'll just say this right off the bat: 2025 was the most surprising part of that trailer.
Correct.
It's like, wow, same year as Avowed. Like, you're releasing 2 in a year. That's incredible.
I am feasting, and I don't know how I'm going to get to everything else because Obsidian alone is going to take up so much time for me. But yeah, I was happy just to see it again, and I was totally excited to see 2026, and then they say 2025. I'm like, how? How are they doing this? Granted, I really don't think they're going to hit 2025, but it's still up in the air, and I think
mean,
that's a good goal to shoot for.
If I can interject, I mean, like, Avowed was supposed to be this year, and it got delayed because of, quote, like, oh, we want to give time for your backlog. So I feel like Avowed is basically done, and like it's a kind of almost like a skeleton crew on that game right now, just like finishing up the bugs and whatnot. And like most of that development squad is on Outer Worlds 2, and everything we saw in the trailer looks pretty like final almost.
Yeah, and it's a sequel, so they definitely can reuse assets and make that development process more efficient. But that being said, there clearly must be another team, because there's no way they can, like, yeah, now all the attention's on it, but there is no way they got that much. Like that thing looked good. Like, it looked sharp. Whereas it's funny, Avowed, we've seen so many trailers of Avowed, and it's not till like the last couple where we're like, oh, okay, I like where this is looking. Whereas like Outer Worlds 2 first trailer, it's like, nope, that looks like legit. Like, they passed the eye test immediately. But yeah, I'm excited that they said it was almost like double the kind of the game. So hopefully we get it. I hope it's still open zone. I think they're going to commit to open zone. And I just hope there's more planets. There's more story. That was my one complaint about Outer Worlds, was that the main story is good, but it does feel a little rushed at the end, and they could have fleshed it out. So I'm okay with them maybe adding 10 hours to make it a 40-hour experience instead of a 30. But it just looks really good. It seems like they're still nailing the humor. They're getting better with the melee combat, looked better, and I think Avowed probably helped them with that. So that'll, those two games are feeding back and forth with each other. But I will also say, final thought on it is, something tells me they are trying to get Outer Worlds 2 out as fast as possible to clear their slate for Fallout?
Nope.
Is that what's next for Obsidian?
You know what's funny, Bob? I was literally going to say, man, I do hope Outer Worlds 2 comes out soon so we could start thinking about Fallout for them. But I'm like, nah, I don't want to be mean. Bob's excited for this game.
But I mean, it does lend to that theory that, like,
I think
they were rushing it out, but like, I do think they're like, yeah, we need to make this efficient because, yeah, it sounds like we have an opportunity here and we need to cash in on it.
I think my thing is with Fallout, it's almost like it would have started development too soon to where we wouldn't even hear about it for the next couple of years.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, we didn't see the first Outer Worlds 2 trailer until 2020. Was it 2 or 1?
2021.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
I mean, that was 4 years.
Yeah,
We heard about Avowed in 2020. It's coming out in 2025. It should have been 2024. So 4 years. So they could be in pre-production right now, and it could be out in 2028, 2029.
God, just hearing those words hurts me, man. I do think it's interesting. I really do hope Outer Worlds 2 comes out and I play it and I'm like, you know what? I was wrong. This bangs. I think it really comes down to that combat, because I always like the writing. I think the writing's actually really good. It's just the world. It's just a personal thing. I'm not a big sci-fi guy. But like the gameplay was kind of the thing that really stopped me. But every time I hear you talk about it, I'm always like, maybe I should go back, actually play the DLC and whatnot, because I heard that's the best part of that game. I am curious to see like what other advancements they make with this sequel.
100%. And yeah, Murder on Nero Danos, I still put up there as one of my favorite DLCs of all time, if not the best DLC of all time. It's so good.
Do you think that 2 has like a direct connection to 1? Like it's going to be necessary to play 1?
No, because if I remember correctly, I don't think they leave much wiggle room for a sequel. I'm trying to like rack my brain around what the ending is like. I mean, also there's, multiple endings, but I don't think it'll be like, you kind of need to know, because I think it sets up a sequel, but not with like your character or like the same protagonist and antagonist. I think you're going to come from what the events of the end game were, and then continue that story that they started setting in place in the first one. So like honestly, I think a recap video would be totally fine. I don't think you need to play the game in its entirety.
That's what I
Very
like to hear with
excited.
sequels.
Yeah. Really. Jack, this one I definitely know what it is. I don't even have to think about it with you.
You know, there wasn't really much shown for me. I was a bit, I didn't really get anything to be excited for. It was quite disappointing. Yeah, that's it. There's just no games that I'm excited for.
Wow,
Not one.
Jack. Okay, you're a funny guy. What about a certain wolf?
Wolf. Not coming to mind. Okami 2 got announced. I genuinely nearly sobbed. I was so excited. It's Okami is one of my favorite games of all time. It's the game that I've put the most hours into over any other game in the world, just because I've replayed it that many times. I adore Okami, and the idea, that game was 2006. I never thought it was getting anything more than Okamiden as a follow-up. I didn't think we'd ever get a proper sequel. So this is insane.
Jack, if you put me in a room for 2 hours and say just make predictions for games, I would not have said Okami 2. Like there is
Nor would I.
Because that game, I thought that for sure that franchise was dead. I thought because Kamiya left, Clover like was completely disbanded, and thing is like Kamiya did not leave on like amicable terms. Like it was a pretty rough breakup. Okami sold horribly, if I remember correctly. You might know more than me. I'm pretty sure it sold really badly. But like it didn't
at first.
Yeah, at first it didn't sell what Capcom wanted it to, and it kind of, you said also it kind of ends in a way where like it wouldn't need a sequel.
I would argue no. Like
Okay.
it's a pretty fine ending as it is. So I am curious where they go with that. But
I think
either way, I don't care. I just want it.
I think the fact that it's straight up like Clover's studio is the new studio is so on the nose, and I love it. And the fact it's like such a beloved studio too. Like Team Clover was always such a really cool, like, hey, we're just making cool shit over here. And it was like some of the best people at Capcom. Stuff like God Hand came out of it, Beautiful Joe. So the fact that they're like, hey, we're trying to bring that name back, and maybe Okami 2 is the start of even more out of that studio. You know, do you think that there's any credence to that?
I mean, possibly. I suppose it all depends on how this game does. Like, obviously, in some ways, it's hard to imagine it selling particularly well. But I don't know. I just hope there's space for it, really. Like, I mean, Platinum Games titles didn't always sell amazing. A few of them did, sold really well. But so maybe there's a chance. I mean, this isn't under Capcom anymore. Capcom's publishing, but Clover's is its own studio. So I just want to see more. I want to see where they go from here. I was looking at the website before we went live, and apparently a lot of the faces on the photographs are like some top talent. So I'm really excited.
No, that's incredible. I can't get over it's just like Jeff introducing the game was so funny because he was about to cry. Which I respect it. I didn't realize how much of an Okami guy he was apparently.
Granted, that was his second time. He was trembling when he was about to announce Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Finally, a standalone experience. It's like, damn, Jeff, okay, I'm excited too, brother. What's up? What you showing?
You kind of nailed that impression.
Me and my friends make Jeff Keighley jokes all the fucking time, so I've just kind of been obsessed with that voice. He has a very distinct voice. I want to talk about some other random stuff. Like we said, there's a shit ton here. Listen, Bob, now we can talk about it. Ueda. What the fuck?
Let's go.
I did not think he would come back. I did not think he would come back here. I will say, the fact that it's still untitled with no real semblance of a date still tells me it's very far away. Which, if you know Ueda, those games take fucking forever. Like that's it, just let him work. That's kind of the feeling around his games. But my God, I am so into what this is, and that team has full trust. It's like, yeah, Ueda, do whatever you want. I trust you.
Yeah, I genuinely am curious how long this has been, I guess, back in development for. Because it sounds like this was something that's been kind of rumored, teased in the works, but nothing's really happened. And then now all of a sudden we get the confirmation that it's like, no, this project's a go. And we're really gonna start diving into it. But yeah, I mean, Shadow of the Colossus is one of my favorite games I've ever played, and I only played it a couple years ago. Like it still holds up. And I think for me, we've talked about it before, but like I love fantasy, but sci-fi is really my bread and butter. And when I saw that man climb a mech, I lost my shit.
Dude, and it's like the mech design, because like I'm the opposite of you. I'm not even that big of a sci-fi guy, but that mech design was like, oh man, never mind. I'm in. I'm so into what you're doing here.
Yeah, I cannot wait. Cannot wait for that. Oh yeah, Jack, I think mentioned it in chat. 2020 was when they announced they were going to be publishing it. Yeah, so it has been a while. But also like crazy that Epic's publishing that. Like what a
Yeah, that's weird.
what a token of good faith from Epic. Like I would not expect them to be the ones publishing it, but yeah, Wolf, I don't know if you had the same reaction I did, but he like gets at the top of the mech and then he like flies up over whatever that wave comes in. I'm like, no, go back. I want to see I want to see you in the mech. Go back down. Go back down.
I almost feel like it'll be like a thing where like maybe the head is like what lets you control the different mechs, and like you maybe fly around a more semi-open world type deal.
Mm.
I'm just like so interested because like Ueda is one of those designers. I put him like in the same tier as Kojima for me personally. Of like, I am so down for whatever you make because I know like it's gonna be completely different to whatever else is out on the market, and I love that about like games, and I always love like whatever the new and creative ideas are, and I think Ueda is kind of one of those designers.
Yeah, he's really good at capturing imaginations. And,
Exactly.
Yeah, I love it.
It was that thing too. It's just like the way the character moved. It's like, yes, it's janky. Yes.
Yeah, right.
There was a lot of other stuff. Like we said, I want to point out this Ninja Gaiden game that they showed off at the very start looks fucking awesome. I'm so happy. I love Ninja Gaiden. So to finally get like a new one and for it to be like a 2D like classic Ninja Gaiden game, hell yeah, I'm so down.
I usually don't like pixel games, but this one looks like it's worth it.
Blasphemous pixel art is unreal. So basically, it's just like, hey, here's Blasphemous again. It's so beautiful. Jack, you were also hyped for it?
Oh yeah, 100%. This looks so cool.
Yeah, no, I can't wait. They just said summer 2025. Which, by the way, I saw a lot of summer 2025 dates here, which is like, oh man, now the summer is gonna be packed too. The 2025, leave us alone, please.
I don't remember who said it, but apparently everyone's just saying summer for now because everyone just doesn't want to date any games until later.
Yep, that's a great point. Yeah,
Yep,
for a certain title.
Like if you can't get your game out by like March or April, you're just gonna leave it very vague.
And if GTA
Jack,
gets delayed, you can push it into winter and be quite happy
stop
about
saying that. Stop saying that, Jack. I don't want to believe. It's not getting delayed. I believe, okay?
I just can't wait for like the press news roundup the week after GTA gets delayed because it's gonna be like 100 games just updated their release date.
Oh my god, guys, we're safe. I cannot wait. Jack, Tekken 8 DLC. We got Clive as the last character. I'm down. Honestly, I'm not even that big of a 16 fan, but I think that is a really cool character to choose. Though, man, the Tifa fans are in shambles.
I love Clive. Clive is great. He's I really enjoyed him as a character. I love the stage. The stage is super cool looking. Phoenix Gate. I will say, I think Tifa was the better fit. Even now.
But Final Fantasy VII fans have enough. Okay, you're getting an entire remake trilogy. Like, come on.
I don't know. It just feels like they were just like, oh, Tekken 7 used the most recent Final Fantasy game at the time, and now Tekken 8's doing it as well. It's like, it would have been cool to have Tifa, but I can't complain. I'm getting Clive.
Yeah, that's my thing. I was just like, I'm like, okay, he has a sword character. Like, hang on, maybe I could finally get a character in Tekken 8 because I stopped playing. I'm like, I couldn't find a character, Jack. I was fucked. So I'm like, okay, maybe this is my main.
I will say, like, they were showing the trailer, and obviously it was obviously Final Fantasy 16 related, but I was like, this art style's slightly different. What's the catch? What is this?
I was
is this
terrified it was going to
PS4
be a
version?
mobile game.
I thought it was a
Pocket
mobile
edition.
Yeah, I thought
Yeah,
it
I
was like Xbox port for a second.
Yeah, that would have been funny. Like, show a really bad version and be like, "Yep, this is the Xbox one."
Yep.
That's what you guys
because of the
asked
series-
for.
all because of the Series S.
What I really want to shout out, Onimusha Way of the Sword. What the
Oh.
fuck is Capcom? Like, bro, Capcom on a goddamn tear for everything except Mega Man. I'll wait. But
Capcom
Onimusha,
is back.
that franchise was dead. So it's just like, oh, actually, we're making a new one out of nowhere. I'm not personally a player of these games, but like that trailer looked sick. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm in.
It's super cool that, like, obviously when Konotsugami was first shown, everyone was just like, "Oh, this looks like Onimusha with an Okami aesthetic," and now it's like, "Oh, we're getting both of those games still."
Yeah, really.
It's interesting. I noticed though, Capcom doesn't have a big 2025 game as of now.
Oh, right now, I don't know, Jack. I feel like whatever that I'm kind of
for
leaning
Resident
towards
Evil
Ori
9
9.
comes in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I assume so. They're kind of on a 2-year
How is
cadence
that
with
game
that
still not
franchise.
revealed?
What'd you say, man?
I was like, how is Resident Evil 9 still not revealed? Like, we haven't seen
Right.
anything.
Wait, Capcom. Wait, Monster Hunter. Is Monster
Oh,
Hunter not
Oh,
Capcom?
Oh,
yeah. Wait,
yeah,
I
yeah.
completely forgot about that.
You guys,
It's
I
funny
was so
because-
confused. I'm like, wait, what?
I don't know
It's
why,
funny because
man.
I'm Monster Hunter. I'm so excited for, and I'm just like, yeah, that's like next week. I don't care. That's not next year.
Yeah, I think that's the thing is that it's early in the year for next year, so we just didn't think of it for some reason.
Yeah,
do still think
ignore me.
RE9.
That was a terrible point.
No, but I still actually do think RE9 is next year, though. It's just like
Yeah.
the 2-year cadence is usually real with those games.
And there's always Pragmata, of course.
Dude, I'm so mad. That game looked so cool, and then they were like, "Never mind." Like, what is okay? Actually, though, Jack? What is with Capcom revealing a game like at the start of a PlayStation console and then completely forgetting about it, and it gets delayed to hell? Because it happened
I
with
mean-
what was that game like early in the PS for
Deep
the
Down.
PS4? Deep Down. It's like, what the fuck is this? What is this track record, Capcom?
Is Pragmata the one that had the like sorry we're delayed with a frowny
Yeah.
face? Hell
Twice.
yeah. Hell yeah.
Incredible. man.
It was announced at the PlayStation Showcase, so it was like really far ahead. They announced it for 2022, which was like again. So this was 2020 when they announced it, and then in 2022 they delayed it to 2023, and in 23 they just said delayed indefinitely.
That was so weird. I want to bring up Borderlands 4. I'll be honest, looks like more Borderlands. It's funny though. Dark was talking to me about it, and he's a huge Borderlands fan. He's like, "Man, that trailer made me so sad." I'm like, "I have no idea what you're talking about, Dark. It looks the same as Borderlands 3, which looked the same as Borderlands 2. I don't know the difference anymore, and I've played all of them."
And I see people online. I thought I'd see more upset people, but everyone just seems like, yeah, okay, cool.
Exactly. I was just so confused. It's like it's just Borderlands. Like it's like the most like nothing changes franchise, and everyone's like, "God, 3 destroyed the franchise." It's like, guys, I don't know if your franchise was ever that crazy, but okay.
Dark's gonna be really mad when he doesn't listen to this episode.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying it because he doesn't listen.
If anyone's gonna be mad, it's gonna be Fusion, knowing that we've gone this far without mentioning a specific game.
Nah, we're not gonna talk about that. Who cares?
What?
Because I mean, who cares? Because Turok was also here.
True.
Right. Why is
No.
it third person? Why has it got such a weird focus on like multiplayer? This is weird.
So weird, Turok of all
Wait.
franchises by
Saber
Saber.
Interactive. Saber is making another dinosaur game on top of Jurassic Park.
Saber is making 100 games right now, Jack. I don't know what's going on over
I
there.
mean, to be fair, a saber tooth is a Jurassic animal, so that does check out.
Bob, you wrote that down before
I
the
take it
show,
back.
didn't you?
No, but I'm good on my feet. What can I say?
I mean, listen, it looks generic and dumb, but I'm also like, hell yeah, Turok's back. I'm fine with this.
Is that why they released the N64 version on NSO?
That I don't think it's related because that was like months ago. But also,
right, but it's like it is kind of the thing where it's like, oh yeah, let's fire up the Turok mind space again, you know?
Yeah, it's like let's have people remember that this franchise exists.
Yeah.
shout outs to Turok. It's the
What a
funniest
game.
franchise. I think I saw it in the kind of funny reactions. I don't know if you watched those, Bob, but they were like, "Man, every time people see dinosaurs, they just think of Turok," and then the title showed up as Turok. It's like, okay, never mind.
No, I did not.
I want to also bring up RGG Studios, which revealed 2 games here. What the fuck
Yes.
is with that? What is with that studio, man? They make 100 games
Insane.
a year.
They got the
Now
pirate
that-
game coming out.
Yeah, they got the
Yep.
Pirate game coming out next year, and then they got this. I'm guessing Virtua Fighter probably comes out by like the end of next year, somewhere around there.
Probably.
And so yeah, so it seems like they're going to be taking a short break from Yakuza, which I think is kind of deserved after putting out both Like a Dragon games pretty much back to back.
I mean, you say that, but also, I bet you there is a Like a Dragon game coming soon.
I'm sure it's
Uh,
sitting in pre-development somewhere in an
Oh,
office.
But yeah, Virtua Fighter looks sick, but I really want to talk about Project Sentry, which everyone,
Yes.
no joke, every reaction I see, everyone was like, "Oh, Sleeping Dogs,"
Sleeping Dog.
breaks my heart every time because I want that to come back. But hey, not this show. But damn, Project Sentry looks sick. I'm very much into the aesthetic of this like early 1900s Japan crime boss style game with way more emphasis on that melee combat, like Sleeping Dogs. So I'm like, hell yeah, I'm so down for whatever this is.
Do they link it to Like a Dragon?
I really hope not. Something
Me
about
too.
just putting the name Like a Dragon on it puts me less interested. I don't know why. I feel like I would just be more interested if it was like a wholly original game.
I think it could be like it's in the same universe, but it's not directly tied to it, kind of like Judgment.
Yeah, something like that.
That's where I was going with it. Is it's been a while since Judgment 2 came out. Is this that studio just making a new franchise or doing something different? Because that's what struck to me was it's the Judgment team.
Yeah, it might actually be the Judgment team. That makes sense. It seems like the fact that it's called Project Sentry. Do you guys think this is further away than we are expecting?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, this is 2026 at the earliest.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, it's
Further away
not
for
Square Enix, so this is not the real name of the game. That comes out in a couple months.
I will say,
Project Triangle Strategy.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I will say, Bob, when people were talking about, it's like, damn, the Gen Design game doesn't even have a title. It's like, that must mean it's so super, super far off. It's like, it just made me think of Tears of the Kingdom and how long it took for them to reveal the title.
Yeah.
It technically does have one. The credits, some people point out, it says Project Robot. Granted, it's the most generic name ever, but still, it does have a project name at least.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's just like, why didn't Jeff just say Project Robot? It was like,
Or
untitled game.
fade in the trailer to just say Project Robot now in development.
It's
I don't
Gen
know.
Design. Regardless of whether they give a title, it's going to be for years away.
It's going to be a decade away, man. I can't wait.
PS6 launch title, baby.
Unironically, Bob, that's actually best case scenario. Anything else that you guys really want to point out?
Oh,
Oh, wait.
Oh.
Yeah, there was 2 games.
I'm like, what are we doing here? This got to be a bit.
Well, I wanted to get everything else out of the way, and then I
Okay.
just completely forgot about them.
Okay, hold
Wait,
on. I do want to point out Mafia: The Old Country. We got another
Yeah.
look at that. That looks
Let's go.
really, really good.
And then I guess later it got confirmed it's not an open world game. It's going to be a lot more linear. And I'm like, thank goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the open world is always the weakest part of 2 and 3, from what I've been told.
Yeah, but like honestly, I like that because it's Take-Two. Like I like that they don't want to just make GTA set in like the early 1900s or whatever, but they just wanted to like focus on like that combat and storytelling, and man, I'm so here for it, and yeah, visually it looks stunning this game.
Anything else?
Real quick shout out to the game Rematch from
that
Slow
looks fun.
Clap, the Seafood devs.
was insane.
Only because that is a crazy leap of faith to go from a fighting game to a like over the shoulder, like not first person, but like you're playing the specific character soccer game. What a move!
Their last game was a scuba diving game, so I think they just like doing different things each time. They did Abzu, right? Or am I misremembering?
No, they did. Oh god, what was that game called? I
They did
can't.
Abzu.
I'm gonna
I
look
don't
at
think
the
it was
giant
Abzu.
Okay. Maybe Slow Clap. Slow Clap's one of those
Um,
studios I can never think of. But yeah, it was weird to think like, oh yeah, we go from like our biggest success ever to a soccer game.
Like
Wow,
yeah,
that's
and like honestly, as like
Resolve
someone who
impressive.
plays FIFA and Rocket League, I don't know what exactly the how this is going to differentiate from any other kind of similar genre. So I mean even Mario Super Strikers didn't do that well. Like I just I don't know. I hope I wish them the best and I hope they have something there that just doesn't like translate to a trailer, but also completely missed opportunity to call your game FIFU. Like it was sitting right there.
It's in
It's
the
not
Sifu
like-
universe at least.
Oh, it's so good.
Screamer? How about you, Bob? Screamer with Troy Baker.
Is it
Yeah, we
actually
can keep
Troy
going.
Baker?
Let's talk about the better racing game that was announced. Team Sonic Sonic Racing
Yes!
Cross Worlds.
Yeah, I was about to mention that. I'm hyped.
that
I'm
was
ready.
more hype.
So they haven't confirmed that Sumo Digital is doing it, which is making me a little nervous. However, if they are, I really hope it is going back to being like a Sega crossover stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because like that was the weirdest choice was for go from All Stars Racing Transfer to as Team Sonic Racing. It's like no, I want to play as Danica Patrick.
Yeah, and Wreck-It Ralph. Yeah.
It's it looks cool though. I love how they used Shadow to advertise it, and not Sonic. It's like yeah, it's the year of Shadow, baby.
Yeah.
Any
And-
other games?
And shout out to
think
Naughty
we're good about-
Dog for the Last of Us remastered coming to PC, giving us all heart
Yeah.
attacks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was Naughty Dog's big thing. Eventually, Last of Us Part 2 is coming to PC. Cool.
So speaking
I
of
don't-
a PlayStation game, sorry, I was gonna say coming to PC. I'm excited for to play Rebirth, and they said they're optimizing it for
Oh, yeah,
Steam
that's
Deck, so that's gonna be hype.
Hey, you got to play on the deck.
Yeah,
I might actually replay that game on PC because I want to see it like as maxed out as possible.
You don't want to see out all whatever the hell that performance mode was with the Vaseline.
No, no.
Did you play on performance or quality?
I played on quality because I thought it was a stable 30 and it looked pretty well, and like the 60 wasn't even 60 at times. So it's like, yeah, no, I'm good.
All right, we delayed it long enough. Let's talk about Catley. So
Yeah, so
yeah.
Catley is
The
Game
first
of
big
the Year
game for Apple
2027.
Dude,
Yeah.
it's on Apple Watch. That's
Oh my
iconic. I've never seen that logo in a video game presentation.
People
Okay.
are saying this is that might be like AI generated video game.
You're kidding
Oh,
me, bro? I look at
I-
that game and oh man.
I also
they-
heard it was a Strand-like game. So maybe
I'm just saying, we gotta
Kojima
keep
has
our
some
eyes on this.
involvement.
We need to keep our eyes on this game.
Put it on the watch list for next year. Most anticipated for next year, even.
It has
Yeah.
to be
Oh,
on
yeah?
our list. All right, let's actually talk about it. Witcher 4. I'll refrain because I don't have much to say. I'll let you guys talk.
Who wants to go first?
Before I refrain, I will say one thing. My only disappointment with Witcher 4 is I thought it was going to be mostly just kind of like a fresh start on the whole Witcher series with barely any connections to the original trilogy, so I could just jump right in. No, it's Ciri as the main character now, which is all in Witcher 3 and more. So it's like, no, there is going to be all that baggage. So I have to play Witcher 3 now. I just can't jump into Witcher 4. God damn it.
Yeah, but at the same
Probably
time,
like a
you could
recap.
jump into Witcher 3 without playing Witcher 1 and 2. So,
Yeah.
like, you
Yeah.
could just jump into Witcher 4.
We'll see. I still have. I bought 3. I need to play it.
Great game. Yeah, Jat or Jack, have you guys played Witcher 3?
Not through all of it, but I have like about 10 hours in, but I know that's not even close to anywhere.
Yeah,
In-
10 hours in, bro got out of the tutorial.
not even.
I remember like when I did the quest to get out of the tutorial area, and I was so pissed off, Bob, because I was like, I was still like getting shit done.
Right.
And they're like, all right, you're out of the tutorial area. It's like, no, there was quests there still. What the fuck? But yeah, Bob, I guess it's up to you, Bob.
Hold on, Jack. Hold on, we haven't heard from Jack.
I was going to say the same thing. The fact that we're all skipping over this
That's
is even
crazy.
funnier
I'm
than
the
ignoring
only.
it.
I did not know that.
See, that's actually fucked up that I'm the one who's played the most outside of you, Bob.
Yeah. Wow. If I'm Fusion, I'm turning this episode off. Oh my god.
He's coming on next week to talk about it. It'll
Yeah.
help with the next game too. So,
But yeah,
Yeah.
I for me, I guess it's the only person who's beat the game. This was an awesome trailer. It was. I mean, I was hoping it would be Ciri as a playable character based off of what feels like is now the established canon ending of Witcher 3. I love that they're continuing with her and continuing her growth into becoming a Witcher. That being said, there is clearly a gap that we're missing that is either going to be explained or is part of the mystery, because you can't just like, there are very important moments in becoming a Witcher to be able to do the things a Witcher can do that she does in the trailer that is not like that we don't know happens yet. So hopefully we'll be able to see those as we go, and it's the kind of the journey into solidifying Ciri as the main character. But it looked incredible. I loved at the end the kind of like she has this whole scene with the monster, which was awesome, and then she comes out, and that girl got stabbed, and all the townspeople are acting like it was part of what happened, and she's like, oh no, I killed the monster. There's more monsters between like the lot of you, and it's like, oh hell yeah,
that was a raw ass line.
that is so good. So and Ciri is such a strong character. Like, she is a very, very strong and independent character who is not going to take shit. And I think definitely follows in Geralt's footsteps. That being said, we know Geralt is a part of this game. No one wants to say how. He could very well be the narrator. He could very well be a mentor-like figure, like I forget his name from Witcher 3. There are definitely a lot of elements that he could be involved. I honestly hope he's not involved that much. I think he had his trilogy, and I just don't want it to be like another Star Wars situation where like we keep getting Luke Skywalker involved. It's like, guys, we need to like establish Ciri as the new protagonist going forward. So, I mean, obviously I want to see him, and I do hope there's interactions there. And his voice was at the end of the trailer.
Oh, that was him.
Yes, but I will be curious to see what they do, but I'm very excited. It looks awesome.
I mean, listen, I'm very excited for you and Fusion, especially Fusion. That man was very happy. Also, fuck Fusion, by the way. He always gets what he wants. But no, I mean, that was a very high quality trailer. It's one of those things where I think we're with how much the director at CD Projekt Red was talking about Witcher 4 in interviews and whatnot. It very much told me, it's like, yeah, this thing is way closer to being revealed than we all think. So yeah, incredible. Very, very excited to see what the opinion around that game is. When do you think this game's coming out?
I mean, at least 20, and definitely not 2025. I'm hoping 2026, but there's a chance it's still 2027 too. I just don't know. I don't have a good read on it.
Yeah, I'm feeling like 2027 is probably the case, because like what Cyberpunk was 2020, and they're usually around like 7-year dev cycles for their games. They only recently went full production, I think last year on it too.
Well, Witcher 3 was 15, so that was 5. I mean, granted, kind of different teams to start it, but Cyberpunk was outrageously long. like longer than I think they were comfortable with. So they could maybe be shorter. I don't know.
Yeah, but Cyberpunk was when it launched, plus 3 extra years to actually fix it. So I'm
Yeah,
hoping this
I
game.
think they've obviously learned their lesson. Like, hey, we can't do that again. We need to have this thing polished. So I don't think they mind if it falls back to 2027.
Exactly. Final game of the show. Jeff's one more thing was Naughty Dog. Their new game finally revealed, which was Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet. Which, if you guys remember, this is a bit of a deep cut. The trademark, the name, kind of got leaked earlier this year because it was like recently trademarked, and we all just thought it was the Cory Barlog game. So that was like a really fun thing to look up. Personally, trailer does jack shit for me, but very excited for everyone else that's very excited for it. It's just sci-fi; it's not my thing, but I'll play it. I love Naughty Dog. I like Naughty Dog. It used to be big love, but hey, things happen. You guys into what you saw in this trailer, though?
I mean, I'm into the idea of it, but these kind of trailers never do much for me. And I was thinking of this like as soon as the trailer ended. How many trailers end with, or their teaser trailers are always structured the same way? There's some talking, and there's a little bit of setup, and then it just ends with right as you're about to strike an enemy. I mean, Legend of Zelda did that, and a bunch of other game teasers do the exact same setup. So, in terms of the actual trailer itself, did absolutely nothing for me because it didn't show gameplay or anything close to it. It just kind of gave an idea of like what the character is and what you're going to be doing. You're just some kind of bounty hunter. So I'm like, okay, that's cool, but it's nothing I can get personally excited about until I see what are we actually doing in this game.
Bop, is this another one where you're the only one excited? Or
Maybe. I mean, this is, dude. I mean, I'm call me Fusion Junior right now. I mean, I got a
You
rep for
gotta
my
fill in
boy.
for him. I don't know what it is, man. It's just like I should be excited, but like I am really sick of sci-fi as an aesthetic. I don't know what it is. I wish I
mean,
could care. But
speak for yourself, because I saw like
I'm excited for y'all.
the moon, not our moon, but like that crashed broken moon, with like the spirals, and then I mean, for me personally, seeing a spaceship with a Porsche logo on the back, I popped off just for that alone. I'm like, oh, we're getting
Your
like
favorite things.
we're getting like brand immersive levels, and some people called it like an ad or product placement. Like, I don't think you guys understand what product placement is. Like, it's not. It's ways to integrate and immerse yourself in a semi-realistic world. I mean, there's a reason that sports games get the licenses for the real teams. It's because I don't want to play as the New York Blue Men. I want to play as the New York Giants, or the San Francisco 49ers or whatever, right? So having a Porsche spaceship goes a long way in like establishing that immersiveness. But I've noticed just from reactions, it's drawing a lot from like Cowboy Bebop, and there was another movie or TV shows.
Akira.
Yeah, and I
Someone
just
even
love
pulled, like a direct comparison, like the whole thing, little machine that grabs the CDs, like it's a
the
shop.
CDs. Yep,
Right.
and her the cut off red jacket. Yeah, I think it has a sick aesthetic. Kind of again, not if Starfield was like NASA punk, this is like space. It's still like an 80s like cyberpunky aesthetic. And so it's a little more stylized, but also shout out Kumail Nanjiani for being one of the actors. And then I forget his name, but he plays Lalo Salamanca in Better Call Saul.
Oh, Tony, I think Tony something. Yeah, him.
But he's like one of the main antagonists in Better Call Saul, and he's incredible. He's an incredible actor.
Yeah.
So I cannot.
Laco? It's like Lalo.
Yeah, Lalo. Yeah,
that's it. Okay.
Yeah, he was incredible in that show, and so I cannot wait to see what their roles are in this, and just you being a bounty hunter, and like I was totally expecting it to be like a shooting game, an FPS or something, and then when you bust out that sword with a sick laser going around the rim of it and jumping in, I'm like, oh, they're going like, I don't want to say Dark Souls, but they're going action big boss combat. Okay, this is new. This is something different. And they talked about in their press release like how deep this is, like their deepest combat ever for a video game. I'm like, you know, I'm not the biggest Naughty Dog fan, but I will always appreciate like you know, people, again, it's like FromSoft, like going and trying new things and like experimenting and creating new franchises. And this game is like speaking to me. Like it was my number 2 behind Outer Worlds. I mean, go figure, the 2 sci-fi games, but it was incredible. I loved it.
Yeah, the sword was the best thing from the trailer.
That sword was awesome. Yeah, I guess it's just like one of those things where I'm kind of with Moon almost as well, where I'm like, I do want to see more. Here's the thing: I'm guaranteed to buy this day one.
Yeah,
like it's Naughty Dog. I'm gonna buy whatever they make next day one. It's just that thing of like, I'm kind of getting over that sinking feeling because I was really wanting a fantasy game from them. I wanted to see what they could do in there, and it was a 50-50 shot. I know, but I'm like, but it's fine. I'm so excited. I'll check it out.
Yeah, one of the things. Sorry,
John, go ahead.
Yeah. So I mean, for example, this trailer looked really cool, and yeah, like I wasn't sure. Like I don't know if anyone else was like not sure who this developer is, but then when they said from the developer that gave you Crash Bandicoot, Jack and Daxter, I think everyone lost. Like that is how you present a trailer, because you got that name if people just know you off your game. Right off
I knew
that.
as soon as I saw the faces of the girl, like that's a Naughty Dog face.
Yeah,
exactly. Jack, do you have any interest in this one? Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I am interested actually.
Oh, okay. We just assumed. I don't know. Sorry, Bob. You don't have to fight solo anymore.
No, I'm not like over the moon excited yet, but I'm definitely interested. I mean, I like Naughty Dog. I'm excited to see what they do. It was the sci-fi thing I'm a little intrigued with. Like, how open is it going to be? Is it going to be? I don't know. Is it going to be very big open world, or is it just like very focused, still very narrative based? So I'm curious regardless. The name is funny because I remember we all clowned on it when we saw that patent name copyright or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So it's actually funny that now that I've seen the game, it's like, I don't mind it as much anymore.
Oh, man, that's interesting. Bob, do you like the name? Because I don't know why. I think I'm the one person who doesn't into it.
I do, but it's funny because I mean it's early, but I just think Beastie Boys every time.
But yeah, no, continue, Jack.
No, I was just gonna say, as for like the product placement thing, I didn't even notice the Porsche thing, so that didn't bother me. The Sony
product placement.
I saw the Sony like music player and then a load of Sony music CDs, and I thought that was cute. But other than that, I don't know. Maybe it'll feel like forced if it's actually in the game. Maybe it was just here for this trailer. I don't know. We'll see.
I'll be honest. It's just like I feel like the product placement thing. Just I don't really care because it's just logos for me. It's not like disruptive. And also, no one complained about the Monster Energy cans in Death Stranding because that shit was
yes, they did. Oh, yes, they did.
Okay. Only bad people complained about them. Bad people like me. All right, that shit was peak.
But yeah, it's definitely a nitpick. It's like, dude, what? There's so many other things we have to focus on. Like, yeah, I don't get it.
The one complaint that does deserve it is that Spider-Man 2 suit, the Miles suit with the.
Oh, you're right. That actually is. You're right. That is the worst product placement of all time.
Yeah, that's horrible. Real quick, I actually wanted to ask you guys if you know. Do you know what has Trent Reznor worked on?
Oh yeah, I meant to bring this up. So Jeff mentions that after the trailer, and he said Trent Reznor. I forget the other guy's name. I apologize. And I'm like, oh, that doesn't like immediately stick out to me. And I looked up I just literally looked up their names and what original soundtracks they've done, and they did the Challengers soundtrack, that movie with the tennis movie with Zendaya, which was a great soundtrack, and I think will fit perfectly. That kind of style will fit perfectly into this game. But I put that in the Discord and I said, "Oh yeah, these are the guys that did Challengers. Like that's gonna be sick." And I think it was Colin that said, "Bob, that's 9 Inch Nails. Like those are the guys for 9 Inch Nails. Like that. The fact that that's what you know them from. I'm like, okay, if they would have said." Trent and Blank from 9 Inch Nails, I would have been like, okay, I recognize that, but I don't have the name recognition off the top of my head.
Dude, that's actually hilarious because you say that now and I'm like, oh fuck yeah, I love 9 Inch Nails.
Exactly right. Like,
Yeah.
either way, it's a win. But yeah, I just didn't. That name recognition doesn't like click with me. So I was hyped they did the Challenger soundtrack, and turns out it's freaking 9 Inch Nails. Like, okay, that's even better.
The only name I recognized them from was because I heard them earlier this year when they were announced they're also going to be scoring the next Tron movie. So
Yes.
that's
Yes.
where I heard them from.
They clearly have a niche right now, and they are living in it.
I'm gonna take a wild shot in the dark. Pop, are you a huge Tron guy?
Yeah.
God, you're so predictable. That's why I love
Yeah.
it.
I mean, dude, come on. It's sci-fi with like motorcycles with light beams coming out of it. Like, are you kidding me?
That's Pop. Jack, I wanted to point something out you said earlier about the open world comment. It is interesting. Neil Druckmann, he kind of stated in an interview recently that he was very heavily like he's taken a lot of inspiration from Elden Ring and Inside, which is like a crazy duo, but like very much that indirect storytelling and kind of open world design of those games. Well, at least of Elden Ring. And that kind of makes me wonder, it's like, okay, how different is this going to be from the traditional Naughty Dog formula? And that type of stuff gets me more interested and excited. I will say I'm mostly just excited that they're away from Last of Us, because it's like, okay.
Me too.
Yeah, seriously.
It's been a decade.
Yeah. It's okay. They'll re-release 1 or 2 again.
Listen, there's nothing else they could do. They already did remasters for both games. They already did PC ports. It's over. Until 3, we're safe, I think. I don't know. Maybe they'll think of something else. But yeah, that seems like all the announcements. Real quick, before we get into the scoring for the awards, because I want to see who won that really badly. Any like kind of like moments that stood out to you guys? Listen, there's a clear answer here, but for me, I gotta shout out the Muppets. I fucking love them. What I forget what are their names again? Oh my god, it's like blanking, and they're my goats. Bob, do you know the names? Of the
Isn't it
Come on.
Walter and
no,
Yeah.
Waldorf, Statler and Waldorf.
Statler and Waldorf,
yeah,
my
yep,
fucking
yep,
goats.
yep.
I love them in this show. I just love how they were constantly there just talking shit and basically saying all the things people online say. I absolutely, I just like them as like basically, they're the kind of Muppets appearance where it's like, this is perfect. They just there to talk shit. Because man, you want to talk about the biggest haters in fiction? Those two are up there.
Yeah. And
Yeah, go ahead, Jet.
I was gonna say one thing I appreciate, because obviously Keeley has to like see the scripts and everything for the jokes like this, is that he was good with the self-aware humor of nominating DLC as a game. I was surprised that they made fun of that.
Jeff got super self-aware this year with not only the show but also all the marketing on his Twitter account this year.
Yeah. He was like pointing out all the classic memes from Game Awards.
I think the one thing I wish Jeff, because he wasn't really clapping back at them. I wish right at the end when they finally get their last one in, he would have mentioned like, "Oh yeah, have fun on Rock and Roller Coaster, guys," because the Muppets ride is closing at Disney and they're doing them. That would have been a funny clapback, but I think that would have been a
insider joke, though.
yeah, I know that would have been a deep
But I
cut
love
for
that.
like me and Mike Minotti.
Yeah.
Wait, okay, hang on, real quick, before we get to whatever else. I'm getting roasted for not beating Witcher 3 in the general chat right now. Is it? It's not that crazy, right?
It is a long game,
It's a little
Most
crazy
people haven't
for
beaten
you being
it.
a
Like,
fantasy guy.
but it is a good action game, so I think that's why you're getting roasted.
action? No, you know what? No. It's a time for excitement for Witcher fans. I'm not going to talk shit about it. I want to shout out also the speech from God. What was his name? A
Sven?
seed. No, it was Sven. I mean, we can talk about that.
Amir,
actually.
right? I think that's
Amir, yeah.
Yes, Amir, yeah.
Yeah, the Game Changer Award.
That
Love
was a
seeing
good
stuff
award.
like that. It's like what Industry Icon used to be. It's basically a new version of that.
Well, and he did the thing with the future class, which I think was cool, but it really just lost its luster and just was nominating people to nominate them and check a box. And I think making something like this important again, I think speaks a lot to like how much he's trying to put like care and attention into the show.
And then also Sven's speech is like absolutely incredible.
Yeah, it was really good.
It very much felt like him basically just saying like, hey guys, I think there is a future in game development. Don't like give up on the industry yet.
And honestly, I think like just as a whole from this show, like how could you not be excited for the future of the industry? Like it almost weirdly feels like we are, I know we've almost said it every single year, but the pandemic really did ruin like a lot of pipelines, a lot of like the long-term effects of a lot of studios and where the industry is. But like with all of these releases and all of these announcements and all of these companies seemingly like firing on all cylinders, it really does feel like last night was the most positive I felt about the industry in I feel like a long time.
No, exactly. I mean, 2025 just looks absolutely incredible for games themselves. So, and also indie space is always thriving. So if you ever feel jaded by AAA, just go check out Balatro. But speaking of Balatro, which won a lot of awards, let's talk about the actual awards. We all did predictions. Me, Bench, Fusion, Jack, and Bop. Bench and Fusion are flakes. So we're just gonna do the tally up and see how everyone did. And we made the agreement that the winner of this prediction game will choose a game for the loser to play. So maybe they could be nice and say, "Oh, I really want you to play this one game. Now I can force you to play it." Or they force them to play Balan Wonderworld, which I might do. Listen, if I win, I'll do it. Moon,
I
are you
was
ready
thinking
to
something
tally
similar.
Moon, you're gonna tally it up, right?
Yeah, I can't believe I must have missed when you guys did this because I don't remember us actually taking scores.
We did it last year, didn't we?
Well, but I guess I must have just not been around the chat when you guys decided to do this and making your predictions.
This was
Oh,
that
yeah,
mega
yeah.
episode.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
was
it
last
was a
week's
long
episode. I
episode.
think we just kind of said, "Oh, we'll do
no.
it live."
Oh,
was-
it was on the
it was a
podcast,
couple
not
weeks
on the chat.
before.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, it was like a couple weeks before. Anyways, most anticipated. Take a shot in the dark. Listen, all of us said GTA 6, and we all get the point because really, what the fuck else was gonna win?
I mean, I think I said during the moment, it's like I could pick something else, but I want to win, so I'm gonna pick GTA 6.
So yeah, we all get a point there.
Mhm.
Best adaptation went to Fallout, which all of us except Bob said Fallout. Bob said Arcane.
Yeah, I knew when Fallout 1, I'm like, shit, because my heart really was with Fallout, but I overthought him. Was like, Arcane's got that pedigree and everything. That was a whiff.
For what
I
it's
think if-
worth, that's one of the awards that I've seen the most complaints with online. Like everyone saying Arcane deserved it more.
I think if Arcane came out the month before, it probably would have won.
Yeah, timing I think was part of it, but honestly, if we talk about actual adaptation, Arcane is I think a better show still. But actually adapting the source material, Fallout did a really good job of following the lore of the show and advancing it and really getting the essence of it, whereas like it's not necessarily Arcane's fault. I think League just has a very complicated lore surrounding it. So I do think Fallout is actually the better adaptation, even if it's not the better show.
The way everyone sells Arcade is by saying you don't have to play League.
Right,
Don't play
yeah.
the game. It's like, yeah, that's a good point. So yeah, everyone except Bob gets a point for adaptation. Best multiplayer. We all said Helldivers 2, except Bench who said Black Ops 6. Which honestly I could see Black Ops 6 winning it, but yeah, it seems like Bench was a little confident with the wrong thing there.
I want to make fun of Bench, but I made the same exact mistake later, so I'll keep my mouth shut.
Sports
Six win
slash.
any? Oh, sorry.
Sorry. Did you say?
I was
Black
just gonna
Ops
say,
6?
did Black Ops 6 win anything?
I don't.
Surprisingly, no.
No,
yeah,
it didn't.
I don't think it did.
Which is surprising.
Yeah.
I think it was just a competitive year, and also Helldivers kind of took its categories.
Yeah.
Best sports slash racing, which is always, I don't know what this category is half the time. EA Sports FC won, which literally only Fusion and Bob said EAFC.
Yep.
How did you two say it? How did you say it, Bob?
Because we know we're the sports guys.
No,
we...
you don't get to pull that shit.
No, I'm serious. Like I knew, I was completely confident. I thought maybe WWE had an outside chance, but it was always going to be FIFA.
You don't watch soccer though. How would you know?
I'm a Man City fan. I watch soccer.
Oh, you're a Man City, and I don't want to talk to you anymore.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's funny because like me and Jack both said WWE. Bench with a shot in the dark said 2K.
Yeah, that made no sense. That was the worst pick.
I was close to saying FC, but I don't know. I just gave up last minute.
Just Fusion and Bob.
Yes.
For sports slash racing.
Also, I think it's fitting that me and Fusion won because we both know that College Football 25 should have won this category, but.
Well, if it was going to be the European vote, that's why FIFA won.
I know, but I'm still so mad about that.
Is this category 4?
Is it category 4? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that was the 4th category.
Okay. I thought I messed up on the points, but we're good.
Okay, cool. Best sim slash strategy. Fusion and Bup again. Frostpunk 2. They nailed it. Me and Bench said Unicorn Overlord, and Jack said Manor Lords. Which honestly, for that category, I feel like all of them could have won.
I think Unicorn was probably the better game, but Frostpunk just had so much hype behind it, it had to have won.
Yeah, that's fair. So yeah, just Bop and Fusion get points for that category. And then we move into Best Family, which we all said Astrobot, and Astrobot won. So not much to say there.
Is this the first year that a non-Nintendo game won? Or like...
Did It Takes Two win Best Family Game the year it was nominated?
Actually, don't know.
That might be the only one I could think of.
Yeah.
I'll look into it if you guys want to go ahead.
Yeah,
Nintendo didn't win this year.
Yeah, Nintendo had a slower year. Best Fighting. Also, we all said Tekken 8, and Tekken 8 won. I think one of us was like kind of like debating for Dragon Ball, but it seems like Tekken 8.
Oh, I think I was, yeah, but I did not veer.
Contrarian Bob, man. I mean, it worked out for some of them. This article doesn't have Best RPG. That is weird.
Wasn't it Metaphor?
Yeah, it was
Metaphor.
for some.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, real quick. Fuck Polygon. Oh, never mind. Okay, sorry, Polygon. It's because they spelled it out role-playing game.
Oh, so you just can't read.
Well, no, because I'm using Control F, Bob. All right. Metaphor won it. So, me, Fusion, and Jack said Metaphor, and then Bench said Shadow of the Erd Tree, and Bob said Shadow of the Erd Tree. That's right. Yep. Real quick.
Wait, I said Shadow of the Erd Tree? That's insane. What a bad take from me. I thought I said Metaphor. Wow.
Erd Tree did not go win anything, which is like just a perfect example of like, man, I really wish there was a best DLC category because it would have ran away with it. It's like I wanted it to win at least one award.
It will at an upcoming show.
I'm sorry, say again?
It will at an upcoming show.
Oh yeah. Best action adventure. We all said Astrobot except Jack, who said Prince of Persia. And guess who won? Astrobot. I gotta respect the Prince of Persia pick, though, Jack.
I had to try. I wanted to manifest it.
No, I respect it, dude. That game's awesome. Best action. The winner for that category was Black Myth Wukong. And I said Helldivers, Bob said Space Marine, and then Bench, Fusion, and Jack all said Black Myth Wukong.
That was looking good for Fusion.
Yeah, fuck that guy, man. Where did he, dude? He was tryharding or something. What the hell? God, he's gonna pick something boring. It's like, oh, Jack, play Coffee Talk or something.
I think it's is Bench. Well, I don't know. We'll keep going.
We'll see. So action, Bench, Fusion, and Jack all get points there. VR/AR. Batman Arkham VR won. So me and Bob get the point there. Bench Fusion and Jack all said Asgard's Wrath 2.
Nailed it. And it's crazy because I think Asgard's Wrath 2 is the better VR game, but Batman was always gonna Batman's also a great game, and even though it didn't get a 10 out of 10 from IGN, I think the Batman IP was gonna carry that.
Yeah, there was so much hype around it too.
Mm-hmm.
Best mobile. I said me. Oh, all of us said Balatro except Bench, who said Pokemon TCG. Man, Bench is definitely losing.
That was a brave prediction by Bench.
Because he probably played it the night before. I was like, oh man, I love that game.
Well, no, I think I even said on the episode, Pokemon TCG is the best mobile game because I don't like playing Balatro on my phone in some cases because it's landscape, but it's still Balatro, so it's gonna win.
Yeah, exactly. Best debut indie. All of us said Balatro except Fusion, who said Animal Well.
Yeah, I mean, an Animal Well is also a great game. Indies were such a tough one this year.
Yeah, because it's like there was all these great games, but it's like Balatro just was such a critical darling.
Yeah.
Best independent. All of us said Balatro. Balatro won. I mean, let me know if I'm going too fast, by the way.
No, you're good.
Okay, cool. Best community support. Me and Jack said Helldivers 2. Bob said No Man's Sky. But the winner was Baldur's Gate 3, and Bench and Fusion get the point there.
Yeah, what a crazy one.
2-time winner for that award, by the way, which is fascinating.
They got it last year?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, it's a really. I mean, have you seen the updates for that game?
Oh yeah, no. I mean, I'm not even saying that as like a skeptical way. I'm just like, yeah, wow.
Best ongoing. Fusion said Destiny 2. What? Okay, Fusion.
Because of last shape or final shape. That's why.
I guess, yeah. Jack said Fortnite, and then me, Bench, and Bob said Helldivers 2, and Helldivers 2 got it.
Let's go. I need to catch up ground on Fusion.
Yeah, really. Games for Impact. Winner was Neva, and Bench and Fusion said Neva, and then me, Jack, and Bob said Tales of Kinzara.
Yeah.
I mean,
I should have believed. That was I think Neva probably was the better pick, but yeah, I don't know.
It felt like one of those ones where it's like I kind of forgot how highly rated Neva was, and that was
100%.
Innovation and accessibility. I said Prince of Persia. Bench and Fusion said Dragon Age. Jack and Bob said Black Ops 6. Prince of Persia won, so I get the point there.
That was a good call, Wolf.
I think that
Do we know if the people who accepted that award still work at Ubisoft?
I think the big thing is it's just the team was disbanded, but like I don't think they were laid off.
Gotcha.
I might be wrong.
Okay.
God, what a game though. Best performance. I think this one went to Melina Jurgens, which Fusion and Bop put, and then me, Bench, and Jack predicted Brianna White. Melina Jurgens won from a game that people don't even like.
That's why she won, because she was a great performer. She was the only thing that made that game like slightly playable.
I'm just saying, if a game isn't that good, like I wouldn't want to vote for it. I don't want to give it an award if it's not good.
Also, I think it's Melina, not Melina.
Oh, is it? Okay, my bad. Melina. Is it? Oh, I forget where's the team from?
Like
Finland?
one of the
the
Scandinavian countries, yeah.
Okay. Best audio design, which went to Senua Saga Hellblade 2, a game that people don't even like.
Yeah, kind of crazy that game got 2 awards.
Yeah, me and Bench said Silent Hill 2, which actually should have won because that game has 10 out of 10 audio design. Jack said Astrobot, Bob said Black Ops 6, and Fusion said Hellblade 2.
I whiffed. Yeah, this is one where it's like, why did I not pick Hellblade 2?
It's just like, come on, man. People don't even like that game. Whatever. I could whine about it all day. Best score in music. We all said Rebirth. Rebirth won. Yeah, obviously. Have you fucking heard that OST? Like, come on.
Banger.
Such a good OST. So yeah, we all got the points there. Best art direction. This one was actually pretty mixed. Me and I'm the only one who said Black Myth Wukong. Bench said Erdtree. Fusion said Neva. Jack and Bob said Metaphor. Metaphor won. which actually kind of surprised me. But also, I'm like, oh yeah, deserved. I mean, look at that game.
I think that was another stacked one, but yeah.
Best narrative. I said Metaphor. Bench and Jack said Rebirth. Oh, Fusion and Bop also said Metaphor. So me, Fusion, and Bop all got it right there. Which I heard the narrative was pretty good. So yeah.
Yeah, unless you talk to Bench.
Don't talk to Bench.
But I like the narrative. It was good.
It's Jad approved. There you go.
It's in his top 10 of the year, by the way, and he always talks about it like it's the worst game ever made. I hate that guy.
It's
Best-
like the Horizon Forbidden West syndrome.
Yeah, really. Finallys, best game direction. I'm a fraud. I said FF7 Rebirth. Same with Fusion. Jack said Wukong. Bob said Balacho, which is so ballsy. I love it. And Bench got the point with Astrobot. Which I remember, Bob, we were kind of discussing this during it. It was always like, oh, well, best game direction and game of the year usually don't go to the same game. Not this time. Some years, like, it usually does, and if it's a sweep, Astrobot swept.
I confess I was worried.
Oh, go ahead.
I was worried when Astro won this. I was just like, oh no.
Yeah, same. I was like, oh, did they not give it? Dude. Because game of the year, all of us said Astrobot except Bench. God bless his soul. So me, Fusion, Jack, and Bop all get a point there for Astrobot because we fucking believed, baby.
Bench is cooked, dude. Oh my god.
There's no way. I am so interested to see the point distribution now.
So all right. So we got the tally results, and in first place is Fusion and Bob tied.
No way.
Oh,
Let's go.
Followed by 2 points less with Wolf.
Hell yeah!
Nice. Good third.
And
Good third.
1 point less is Jack.
Nice.
And Bench with only 1 less point than Jack, so he lost by 1.
Whoa.
Hell yes.
Jeez. So wait, what was the point distribution? What was Bench's points compared
Yeah,
to
what were the
Bob's
total
points?
scores?
Hold on. So I think Fusion got all of them except 2. If I kept track. Yeah, Fusion I think lost what I think you guys said Animal Well, and I think the art direction. So let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 for Fusion. And Bench had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 6 point difference.
Okay. Yeah.
Jeez.
But yeah, that was Astrobot winning game of the year is what caused Bench, because Jack and Bench were like tied for like the longest time. And then Jack getting Astrobot game of the year and Bench didn't. Yeah, that cost him.
That would have been so funny
how
having a two-way tie for first and last.
So
I
wait,
was
are
so
you
close to picking Rebirth for winner as well. So
Whew.
I'm really glad I picked Astro.
Man, Bench had too much belief in his boy.
But yeah, he was down. He was down by like 3 points for the longest time, and then you guys did a couple more sections where he got points. I'm like, oh, it was gonna be a blowout. No, Bench started catching up, and then Jack was actually losing for a bit there, and then he got a couple more points.
It's so funny to look back on it because it's like Rebirth only got 1 win, which feels weird considering it got nominated the most along with Astro.
I mean, 16 only got like 1 win last year, didn't it?
Okay.
Yeah, dude, maybe critics don't like Final Fantasy, guys. I don't know how to tell it.
Okay, no one tell Bench, hopefully Bench isn't listening to this, but like Hellblade 2 won more awards than Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth.
See, that is actual bullshit.
That's insane.
A game that people didn't like, by the way, which is insane. So how would that work now? Or both?
So I think me and Fusion gotta work together to figure out.
That's crazy. I mean, either that or you both choose a game.
No, I think that's probably a little too mean. I think we can come up with something.
Pick Balin. I want him to fucking experience that garbage the same way.
I'm gonna be honest. You know what I was leaning towards?
What?
I was leaning towards making him play like 10 hours of Skull and Bones.
Oh, that's so heinous. Do you think Bench is actually gonna do it?
No.
Like whatever you choose, is he actually gonna go ahead with it?
I mean, well,
maybe if it was like a single player game, he can blow through like Balin, but 10 hours of Skull and Bones, probably not.
It's a good podcast game. He can listen to more Slice of Gaming episodes he's not on.
Do you think he's gonna listen to an episode he's not on?
No, but maybe if he's playing Skull and Bones, he will.
But that was the Game Awards. Are you guys satisfied with the award winners for the most part?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
satisfied because Astro Sweep, but for the most part, I'm
Astro
happy.
Sweep.
For the most
I
part.
think Astro only lost like one category. I think.
Oh no, because it was in stuff like audio design and art direction. It was because it was nominated the most along with Rebirth. But
You know
I
what? I will say, the people mad that Astro won are telling on themselves. I think that's the biggest like takeaway I got from this. I did not expect that much like backlash from Astro winning, where it's like, oh, we're picking this game like to be game of the year, and it's like you guys are telling on yourselves. You're clearly like I'm not
You
even the
didn't
biggest
play-
fan of Astro in this podcast. That is well known at this point, but even I'm like, yeah, that game absolutely deserved game of the year.
Well, we picked this over Black Myth Wukong. It's like, yes, because Wukong's combat sucks. I'm sorry.
Game though.
It's the same people that like are, you know, they can't play Nintendo games because they think they're made for 8-year-olds. It's like, yeah, you guys are just telling on yourselves. That's fine.
Astro Sweep. That's all that matters. 4 out of
Astro.
7 wins. Oh, by the way, I mean, we could have mentioned that. We'll mention that when we've been playing. But yeah, Game Awards. Very good show. Congrats, Jeff. We're probably going to talk more about it next week. Try to get Fusion and Bench on and hear their thoughts on the show. Bench was actually there, by the way. He met Sven Vinky, and I was so scared that he was going to beat like Todd Howard. And that actually would have killed me.
He met Sven and Donkey. Like what?
Oh
what
my God,
insane,
Donkey.
like
Yeah.
He don't know Donkey like I do. This is bullshit.
Oh,
do you think he was dancing to Snoop Dogg?
Without question. Dude, you kidding me? How is Donkey gonna make a video on that show now?
I don't know.
He'll find a way. Moving on to Switch 2 may have leaked. I'm getting roasted for saying may because Bob's very adamant that it is.
I mean, that is without a doubt
No, you're
a
right.
leak.
So to kind of start, Wario64 has this. D-Brand CEO Adam Ijaz has confirmed to Insider Gaming that the actual design of the Nintendo Switch 2 is what's in the case in the animations. It is the Switch 2 with our Kill Switch case on it. Just straight up saying it. And then Wario64 had a quote tweet. D-Brand says it has actual dimensions of the Switch 2 based on a 3D scan of the real hardware. They understand the Joy-Con are magnetically attached with an ejection button on back top. Switch 2 measurements close to 270 millimeters wide, 116 millimeters tall, and 14 millimeters thick, with the console proportion taking up 200 millimeters worth of that width. Ijaz says the joystick stands 6.27 millimeters tall, and the D-pad and ABXY buttons protrude by 1.57. Guys, I'm sorry. You guys don't care.
Numbers.
Listen, the Switch 2 is leaked.
no.
Listen. Nintendo's pissed. I'll say that right now. They are not very happy with this. I don't know what this D-Brand guy's feeling like. Oh yeah, I'll just say that we're just gonna reveal it. But I will say everything that's kind of happened, it tells me that maybe the Switch 2 was supposed to be revealed way earlier if this stuff is just coming out.
Yeah, I think there's definitely been like for like if it's with D-Brand, then there's probably other manufacturers that like for example, Hori's definitely gotten stuff for like their accessories, and like they probably all of them have them ready, but Nintendo must have delayed something. So we'll probably get, but we're gonna see it very soon. Like it has to be up to early next year, I hope.
Yeah. I think it as far as like the D-Brand stuff, if you guys know D-Brand, they have a history of skirting copyright in any sort of lawsuit, and they're very like adamant about it. Sometimes they rub people the wrong way because they do come off a little aggressive and abrasive and kind of cocky, but they don't make these kind of moves unless they know for sure they are legally allowed to. They're not just going to leak this out of nowhere. They're going to do it because they think they have the legal right to. And so, I mean, I'm sure Nintendo, but also because of that, that is a very established history that D-Brand does that. So for Nintendo to be mad at them, it's like shooting yourself in the foot and then being mad that the gun worked when you pulled the trigger. Like you knew this company has that kind of reputation, so maybe don't give them the plans early and wait till the thing actually launches. Because yeah, Wolf, to your point, I think it got delayed, and there is some sort of contract where they were allowed to like post renders or talk about it, or like maybe this was supposed to be the release day. It's a Friday. Granted, it's the 13th, but like I don't know, it something is afoot here to where, yeah, it sounds like it got delayed and third-party manufacturers were ready to go and something happened.
Yeah, very much kind of like focus. I'm watching the situation from afar, and I'm like, I wonder when the big lawsuit from Nintendo is going to happen. But also, maybe D-Brand's able to kind of sneak out of it. Like you said, they're very sneaky. But I am curious. I will say, a lot of the dimensions mean nothing to me because I don't know what this means. I don't know what 270 millimeters wide is. Jack, do you know? I don't know. I don't mean to single you out.
Nope.
I mean, I can look up the comparison right now and tell you what.
I saw the D-Brand controller looked like it had grips on the back, so maybe the Switch 2 has some nice ergonomic design.
God, please.
That's the only thing I took from it. Oh, and some back buttons maybe.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
Button. The ejection button on the back top seems interesting to me. It very
But
much
isn't
seems
that
like...
where the rail ejector was?
No, because it seems like it's an actual button now, and you don't even have to like rail, because it's not rails anymore; it's magnets. So I think
right, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I think they replaced the button that you would slide it out with a button that just ejects it from the magnetic. Like, I don't think that's changing.
Listen, Bob, I'm grasping at straws here.
Okay. Now there is a new button on the right Joy-Con though. That C button at the bottom. That is a new.
Yeah, kind of like a C stick.
I don't think it's a stick. I think it's just a button.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I think it. To me, I don't think it's a capture button, right? C couldn't be capture because we have the capture button on the other side. So I think it could be like a shortcut button for some reason. I don't know what, but yeah, there's no real speculation on what that could be. My only thing is going back to the magnetic railings real quick. I really hope Nintendo makes a attachment that you can put on old Joy-Cons. Like you slide on the magnetic railing for the new one, so your old Joy-Cons can connect to your new ones. That's my only wish.
Yeah, I imagine like something like that, or at the very least, you can at least probably Bluetooth connect them. Which
yeah, and you definitely will be able to do that, but it would be nice to see them actually connect to your new Switch as well.
Moving on to one of my favorite game studios is dying because nothing good can happen for me. Seems like there's a mass exodus at Platinum Games. Noble has this. Kenji Saito, who is the director of Metal Gear Rising, Takashi Taura of Astral Chain, Masaki Yamanaka from Anarchy Reigns, and Ababe Tenari from Bayonetta Origins removed Platinum Games from their social media bios. This sucks because it seems like maybe they're moving away from Platinum, and like we're getting even more people leaving Platinum. We recently had Camille leave. And now you're going to tell me it's like, okay, well, pretty much everyone that made Platinum Games is leaving as well. At this point, I don't even know who's left. It seems like Platinum had really massive management issues, especially regarding Babylon's Fall. That was kind of like the start of their management issues. They keep trying to move into this AAA space, just try to do this live service thing, and I feel like it just pissed off a lot of those like employees that were very loyal. And now they're like, we're going to do our own thing, move away from Platinum. And it maybe tells me Platinum might be gone in the next few years. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I really hope not. I like Platinum a lot. I think there's definitely still a space for them, even with. I know like they were always supposed to be like the successor to Clover Studio, but they still have their own brand. They are a really cool studio. Astral Chain was a lot of fun. That was probably the most recent game by them I played personally. But like, I really want to play Bayo 3 and Origins. They've been working on Project GG for a long time now, and I think that's part of the reason this is all happening. That was like a Tencent funded live service game, possibly. So I'm I'm trying to remain hopeful right now that they'll at least stick around, but I'm concerned.
A senior writer over at RPG site, James Galizzo, he said this, quote, "They've had a lot of projects canceled. It really feels like their shenanigans finally have made them persona non grata in the industry." What is the fuck? Tora's project was canned by the partner company, and that was probably the onus for him to bail. So tells me basically a lot of things are catching up to them, and they kind of just are sick of it.
So the
Yeah.
Astral Chain Writers project was canned by a partner company. I wonder if that is Astral Chain 2 that was canned.
Did Nintendo recently cancel? Like, I think I remember something about Nintendo Oh no, that was Bandai Namco canceling a Nintendo project. I would, yeah,
Oh,
that is a curious
I
thing.
mean, yeah,
I mean,
I don't know.
Astral's Chain sold pretty decently though, didn't it?
For what it was, yeah, it was like 1 million, 2 million, maybe.
I remember trying to play that game, Jack, and I'm like, I cannot play this on a Switch. It's just like 30 FPS for a Platinum Games game is the worst thing on planet Earth for me. It is very unfortunate. We'll probably never get a 2 though.
It's insane that like they didn't just immediately work on Nier Automata 2 after that finished, because that is their best-selling game.
I think the weird thing with that is that it's like Yoko Taro is trying to do all these other things too. So it's like, well, I want to do like the mobile game first. I want to do this. And Platinum Games is sitting there, probably like have a project doc ready. Like, hey, can we do this? And Yoko Taro's like, no, not yet. And it's
Like,
like,
not even just for
time.
Platinum, but for Square Enix as well. Like they could do with another 10 million seller.
It's so weird, man. I really think, I don't know, man. Square Enix is in a weird position too. That's like a whole nother can of worms that I don't even want to get into because we talk about it like every week. But I am just like very curious to see what the future of Platinum is because I mean, I'm right, Jack. I love this studio so much. They make the coolest games ever.
Yeah.
Moving on, we got some sales data. I just want to point out, Game of the Mario 64 has this Game of the Year has sold 3.5 million copies. And it's actually Balatro, which, hey, listen, that's an argument for Game of the Year. All right, 3.5 million. I will say, definitely. I think that nomination at Game Awards definitely bumped it up even more. I don't know how you guys feel.
I think
yeah, for
between
sure.
that and the mobile release, yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah, the mobile release.
I know multiple people who I try to convince to get the game, and they're like, eh. And then I was like, hey, it's on your phone now, and I'm like, cool, I'll play it there.
Yeah. One thing that I really love about Velatro winning these awards, it's like, all right, you got all these other games, and they have like hundreds of people, and like they put so much effort. Not this is just one guy like against all of them, and it's actually pretty remarkable. And the product that he came out with is also really amazing.
Yeah, no, Balatro, phenomenal. Marvel Rivals also came out, and this is Viraj Bhatnagar from Game Rant. Marvel Rivals crosses huge player count milestone. Marvel Rivals have officially exceeded a whopping 10 million player count across all platforms. Guys, this game is huge. Also, least surprising news in the fucking world. Seems like people are really into this, though. It's a lot bigger than I actually expected it, even.
Oh yeah, free to play and the Marvel IP. I mean, that combo is big.
Yeah, you don't even need to make it a quality game for it to sell, which they didn't. I'm kidding. Me and Bob will talk about it. Moving on, final story. This is more of an update, if anything. Tech Radar. Sony confirms its intention to acquire From Software parent company Kadokawa, but one analyst says the publisher could, quote, lose its independence if the deal goes through. Demi Williams says over there. Sony confirmed its interest. Last month, it was reported that Sony was looking to acquire the Japanese publishing company, with two sources familiar with the ongoing matter claiming the talks are ongoing. Now, speaking in a recent interview, Sony was able to verify the rumors but refused to talk in detail about the acquisition. Quote, "It is true we have made an initial statement of intent. We would appreciate it if you would allow us to refrain from further comment." I'll say it now. I think this deal is 100% going through now. Like, it feels like with all the stars aligning, it seems like we are 100% going to see the headline Sony acquires Katakawa in the coming weeks.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what that timeline is, or like if it does, like how it's able to happen, or why it doesn't. Like I'm very curious to see like the inner workings of this deal to see how they make it work.
I also want to point out there was a recent story as well about Katakawa employees actually really pushing for the deal, and they want Sony to basically replace who the head of current Katakawa is. I found that interesting as well. It's just like, man, there's a lot more to this like Katakawa merger than I think a lot of us were letting on. Which, by the way, I really get annoyed that like all the fucking article headlines of not just like the gaming articles, but just everywhere. It's like Sony acquiring From Software owner. It's like they own a lot of stuff, but okay. But yeah, that's everything regarding to the news. Like slow news week outside of Game Awards, which I mean, obviously. What we've been playing, because there were no reviews this week, because I don't think there were, unless something got updated and I missed it.
And technically Marvel Rivals, but
Did it get scored?
I think so.
Let me
Yeah,
check.
it's at 76 right now.
76.
Yeah,
Interesting.
Greg
Yeah,
Miller's pissed.
Oh, was it not enough?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh man, I wanted Tim to win, so I'm happy. That is interesting. 76. Yeah, that kind of actually checks out.
I think that's fair.
Maybe lower. Balatro. I just wanted to point out Balatro's still awesome.
Oh yeah,
Have you-
I have nothing else to add. Black Deck
No,
sucks. That's what I have to add. That
Yeah,
fucking-
I was gonna say, what? So, are you still trying to get at least a win on all the different decks, or are you finally going into the stakes?
I'm trying to just do one win on every deck first.
Okay.
And I'll mess around with stakes.
Which is the black deck?
A +1 Joker, -1 hand.
Ooh, yeah, that one is tough.
Oh,
you
yeah.
pretty much have to immediately like that's. I think that is one of the best decks that like. When you conquer that, that'll get you ready for the higher stakes, because that is definitely a deck where it's like you need to get jokers fast and you need to make a game plan fast. You cannot let it come to you, because you're gonna die or game over by the time you get a strategy.
Dude, I got
Oh,
like all the way to the end, but I just could not get like. I just got fucked over by the boss. I was like, God damn it!
Yeah.
I was so close.
I'm really just waiting for you to like do a run to get all the stakes on a deck, because some of those stakes are just nightmares.
Oh, God, I'm not looking forward to it.
They're fun though.
Yeah, no, I can't wait. I love Balatro. Nine Souls, I finished that up. Amazing game. Highly recommend it. Issues with the Metroidvania aspect of it. It's very easy to get lost in a very frustrating way at points. The outright don't really tell you where to go at points, which is weird even for Metroidvanias, which usually tell you at least like a general direction to go. This game's just like, you'll figure it out, which is really frustrating. But the combat is phenomenal, and it has a very interesting story. Not an amazing one, but very interesting stuff happening, and I was kind of invested by the end. But highly, highly recommend it, especially if you love Sekiro and Metroidvanias. Bop, what are you playing?
Really, it's just been Star Wars Outlaws. I'm getting farther into the story, so I met ND5, which is the droid that I think they show some footage of, and I'm finally off like the tutorial planet, we'll call it.
Oh, yeah.
And I made it to the second planet, got introduced to the last major faction. At least I think it's the last major faction. I don't know. I'm assuming there's only 4 plus the, I guess, antagonist faction. Yeah, no, that game still rules. It's so much fun. It's got, I genuinely think that's one of my favorite art design games of the year. Because it's just so quintessential Star Wars. Like again, I had a moment where I had to break into a Imperial base to steal what I think I had to steal like codes or a processor or something. And I roll up and I'm thinking, oh, okay, I've gone to a couple bases. Yeah, it'll be a lot of stormtroopers or whatever. Like no big deal. I pull up there is a giant AT-AT, you know, those big two-legged
the big
robot. I pulled up, I'm like, oh no. Oh, what, how? Like, I
Just wing
like
it, man.
the fear that rolled into my like body. I was like, oh, this is so much fun. I love this. So, yeah, I'm still having a great time with that one.
That's awesome, man. You know, Star Wars Outlaws, I'm thinking it's gonna have a better tale than its launch said.
Yeah, I think $30 is a perfect price for this game.
Oh yeah, right, for sure. Moon, you and me both checked it out. The Astrobot level, fun level, very chill,
Yeah.
cool, kind of celebration level, and also just like, hey, you can do this like every 3 months or so. I'm so down, just for
It seems
more
like they're
Astrobot.
going to, because where they put it in the world map, it kind of there's a lot of open space over there. They could easily stick
Yeah.
some more worlds in. So this definitely feels like, oh yeah, we might be just beginning a little world every couple months, which I'm totally down for.
But yeah, it was a really cool level, and also the cameo bots, like 2 in particular. I'm like, wow, I'm surprised you went for those. Like, I didn't think they would get the licenses.
And I just, it's like the perfect example of a bonus world because it utilizes every power up from the game, which I
Oh,
think is
yeah.
a fun aspect to do.
Yeah, for sure. It was a really fun level. Yeah, I'm hoping we get more stuff like that. I heard that
And
there's some spots in the credits that still haven't appeared yet, so we're definitely gonna get more.
And did you do the little extra thing where you get all the way to the top of the tree?
Oh yeah, that was
And
sick.
then, did you know that when you get to the top, there's a little Santa boss riding around? You can actually sit on his sleigh if you jump on him.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I just did it just because he was swinging by. I'm like, I'm gonna try jumping on him, see if I can actually land on him. Not only do you actually land on him, but Astro actually has an animation where he sits on the sleigh.
Oh my god, that's so cute. What the fuck? That is sick. I'm gonna check that out. Yeah, no, I want to go back to it. Ah man, what a game! What a fucking game. Bob,
Game
what's
of the
your
year.
problem? I want to point out. So, Indy, Moon,
Yeah.
and Jat have been playing, right? No one else.
I want to start it this weekend, but no promises.
Yeah, me, Bob, and Jack. You also want to play it, right?
Yeah, eventually.
For sure. Okay, cool. Tell us about it, boys.
right.
I'm only on like the technically second level or second mission, so I'm just really starting out. But it's starting to click now of like what the game is, where it's definitely very much stealth, and they give you the option of pretty much every item in the world is something you can pick up and smack someone with. And it's cool that some items, like my favorite thing so far was I knocked someone out with a shovel, thought I would whack him over the head. No, I went for the crotch. I'm like,
Yeah.
Jesus.
Oh,
That's my
certain-
favorite.
so certain
finisher, yeah.
certain items have special animations instead of just whacking him over the head, which I find great. But I do one, and I don't think I've hit like a real puzzle yet because everything's just can kind of go find this key or go find this, and not really a puzzle so far. So I'm waiting for those to kick in. But the story's interesting so far, and I just started my first side mission. I thought I was gonna ignore most side missions, but a lot of them seem to naturally just pop up, and I'm like, okay, fine, I'll go do that. So I'm gonna go see like how does this distract me, because I do want to kind of not blow through the game, but I don't think I'm that invested to where I want to go do like every side quest. So it'll be interesting to see how many I actually do.
Yeah, I heard it's actually like a really long game if you go for it. It's like 30 hours if you do everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that like the How Long to Beat just as main story has like 11, which is a lot shorter than I thought it would be for just the main story.
It definitely seems like a game you'd want to do a lot of other side quests if you want to like get really invested in that world. What about you, Jet?
So I'm actually like just the other night I made it past past like the second, because there's like the tutorial area, and then you go to the second area in chapter 2. I'm just on chapter 3, so this is like a brand new area that I'm in. And oh man, this game I'm really into. Even though I've like never actually watched the Indiana Jones movies, it like this game, like the action adventure aspect of it, and like and like going through the tombs and doing all these puzzles, which yeah, Moon, you're definitely gonna get the puzzles in that area that you're in. They're gonna come, and some of them are actually like really fun to do. and
Yeah,
so
like super difficult.
yeah, but there thankfully there's like adjustable difficulties on this. I
Yeah,
did
there's a lot of adjustability with both the combat and the puzzles. Like you can adjust them separately; they're not tied together when you
exactly.
your difficulty. So that
Yeah,
was
yeah,
nice.
yeah. I kept combat at light, but I still wanted to give the puzzles like a good chance, so I kept that regular, of course.
That's fair.
And yeah, so like the combat at first, I wasn't sure if like if I was gonna be into this like first person fist fighting, but then I started to get the hang of it, and yeah, it ended up being cool. But it is more fun if you have like something in your hand to hit the enemy with, and like it could be like a bottle, a shovel, and like some other just items just lying around depending on the areas you're in. And another thing is that I'm a very big fan of the Hitman games. I love those games. So I could tell there is definitely like some stealth parts where you do feel a bit like 47, where you are actually trying to go and sneak by these people without getting detected. E- yeah, even in the main area without giving away too much. Even in like the area you're in where like you're not doing any tunes or any missions, you still have to somewhat stay like you have to not get caught. That's all I'll say.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's where I am right now. It's kind of like the overworld kind of in a way, or like your hub,
yeah,
but there is still parts where you have to be stealthy because technically you're not supposed to be there.
yeah.
It is interesting, like there is like the two different approaches. You could probably go through this all stealthily, or you can just go fisticuffs with everybody. And right now, I haven't looked, but I'm going to assume there is a trophy achievement for going gunless, and I'm going to try that because I don't want to set off every alarm with my gun.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what's interesting, Jad, is I've been doing everything pretty stealthy. I've just been knocking everyone out, and then came across the dog, and I'm like, how do I deal
Oh yeah.
with a dog? So I just completely avoided him. Like I just let them walk their little path, and I just snuck through. I didn't even bother. I didn't want to deal with fighting a dog,
Yeah, no, same. I'm like, oh no, this is not the thing I wanted.
and I don't want to
It's
pull the gun
canon.
on a dog.
Oh.
Hey, that's canon. Indy doesn't kill dogs.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Indy also doesn't let me dispose of bodies the way I want to. There was literally a guy sitting in a chair in front of a fireplace. I knocked him out. I'm like, can I just throw the body in the fireplace? No, I couldn't.
Yeah, no, Indy. It seems like that's a game that I want to check out.
Yeah, if you're into stealth and basically stealth, yeah, that's its biggest thing is check it out.
I think that's why I'm curious to play it with Outlaws, because it seems like two different approaches to stealth, and I'll be really curious to kind of compare them back and forth.
Yep, and both Lucasfilm's IPs. So there you
Yeah,
go.
yeah, it's true.
Last up, Marvel Rivals, which you two have also been playing. Any thoughts on that?
Good game.
Yeah, I've been enjoying it. I've been maining as Penny Parker, and the interesting thing is that she's like like she has a mech armor where she is both a gunner, but then she can also shoot webs, and like standing on those webs, she can like auto heal herself, and and like I've been training as her, and she's one of like the tanks, and I don't know if it's just like if it's my luck in some of these games, but I swear like some of the supports I've played with are useless. They're nowhere near me. I'm trying to.
No, that's all these type of like hero shooters. Yeah, the supports are never going to heal you, and the supports cannot heal anyone.
No.
But if you play support, then your damage never does anything.
Yep.
Except for me, because I actually get MVP a lot with most kills. And I play the support character.
Oh, well, there you go. You solved your own problem.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm curious as a Overwatch player who is watching from the outside, as I've not dove in yet. Do you feel like? I mean, as far as like 6v6 goes, I don't know how much you guys have played of 5v5 Overwatch, but do you feel like it's there's not too much going on and that it's still a good team size? Or
I think it's a good team size, especially because the ideal way to do it, and thankfully randoms are mostly good about this. Obviously, there's not, but I think for the most part, the randoms kind of agree. It's 2 damage, 2 tanks, 2 healers, and it does seem like a great setup when that actually does work. And when the randoms do actually lock that in, it does work, and it does seem to swing things. Now, granted, there are other times when you go like 4 damage and 2 healers, or even 1 healer, 1 tank, and 4 damage. It works. It just depends on skill level at that point. But there definitely does seem to be this cohesion of when you actually lock down 2 of each class, it does work. So 6 does seem to work really well.
Okay, yeah, and that was going to be my other question is, with no roll queue, it sounds like you're getting balanced matches most of the time where like you don't have that one guy who's just maining a sniper and refuses to change even though he's like 0 and 10, and it sounds like everyone's kind of still working
We're
together.
so fucking back, baby.
And now there is always going to be those kinds of people, but I do see what's interesting when you're losing, people jump characters like a lot.
That's
so
good.
it's people definitely try and be like, okay, maybe they were trying a new character, but now we're losing. I got to go back to something I'm more familiar with, just maybe to shake it up.
Yeah, Wolf, real quick, because I've kind of been keeping up with some of the former like Overwatch pros, and I don't know how this translates to Marvel Rivals, but one of them says that you can tell who's played Overwatch because apparently there is a similar meta to GOATs that is very popular right now.
Yeah. I don't.
Which for Moon and Jet, that's 3 tanks, 3 healers.
I remember GOATs was that was a dark.
Yeah,
time.
I've never seen anything like that. If anything, it always leans more on the damage side.
Well,
Which makes
right
sense.
now,
That's usually.
I think right now it's just like kind of like a launch Overwatch where there's not really a meta. I think most people.
And that's why I'm kind of waiting. I want things to settle down and then to put out some balances and updates, and then once, because season 1 hasn't started, right?
No, it's season 0. Season 1 starts next month.
Yeah, so I might jump in at season 1, but I'm just watching curiously from the outside.
It is just interesting to see what characters are more common, like you'll run into, and which ones are not. Like I thought Black Widow, who is just a straight up Widowmaker sniper, would be more popular because she can pretty much one shot the support classes. She's barely used.
Yeah.
And characters like Hawkeye, who is more of also kind of a one shot, but less so, more like a Hanzo kind of character because he's also a bow. He's really popular, and I swear I think I ran into someone who was using an aimbot.
Checks out.
Those Hanzo players, man, they're the worst.
And just who was the other character I'm surprised just is not getting any attention. I'll have to think about that.
Yeah.
I think the thing is that there's so many characters.
There are a lot, yeah.
Yeah, there's 30.
It's literally the same amount of Overwatch characters, but at launch, it's like
the problem is it's definitely outbalanced because there's easily double the amount of damage compared to tanks and healers.
All right, that's Overwatch basically.
Yeah. So we're hoping, but we're fearing because we know like the next 5-6 characters, and most of I think 4 of them are damaged, which is kind of annoying.
I will say I got to shout out Psylocke was really fun to play. I like her a lot.
Yeah, that was the go-to my friend first went to.
Also, I think I just stuck with Magneto because I'm like, oh, he has a shield. He's like Reinhardt. I can feel safe because I was like, I don't know any of these characters. I'm just winging it.
If anything, if you want the more Reinhardt experience, you want to do Doctor Strange. Man is just a shield, and that's really all he is.
Yeah, I've seen clips of people using the Doctor Strange portal, putting one at spawn and then one falling off the map.
So toxic. It's so toxic. I love it.
No, the most toxic thing right now is Jeff's ult, and you just suicide with him. You grab the whole team and just throw yourself off the edge.
Yeah, that's awesome,
bro. People are really pissed about Jeff. That's all I see is people hating on him.
He was the first character I went to because his healing is busted. He actually has good damage output for being a healer. And that's really all he does. He heals, and he heals quickly. I think he's the fastest healer that can go from 0 to 100 on healing an ally. His because he just squirts water in a stream, and it's the quickest thing. And then he has an ult that you can. It was originally meant to disrupt, because what you do is you suck everyone up, and you're supposed to spit them out in another direction. But everyone realized, no, I'll just hold on to everyone and go jump off a cliff. and then that became the meta. Because
That-
almost every stage is a floating platform, so within the amount of time that you have, which I think is like 10 seconds, that you can hold on to people, you have enough time to go run off the edge of where the location is.
Moon, that was the most provocative way to describe a hero's abilities I've ever heard in my life.
I know, like, wasn't there a recent patch and it's like they didn't nerf anyone, they just buffed, which I think that's kind of the philosophy they want to go for with this.
Yeah,
game.
I think
Like, we
I
want to
didn't look into that, but I did like hear that line of it's not fun when players get stuff taken away from them, and he's talking about nerfs in that regard. So I think that's more their approach is they're just going to focus more on buffs than nerfs, which it'll be interesting to
That's
see.
a
It'll be
strategy.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. But I can see a Jeff rework somehow coming in the future where you can't just run. You just can't run off the cliffside. It's a fascinating evolution because the game's only been out like what, a week. It was an interesting evolution of everyone realizing, oh, here's how Jeff is supposed to be played. You're supposed to spit everyone out in random directions. Then it evolved to no, spit them off the map because every character that doesn't have a mobility ability is dead on command, where everyone else just flies back. And then a day or two later, everyone realized, oh, I just jump off the map with Jeff. So it'd be interesting to see if they nerf him in a way to where Jeff can't just run off the map. So you have to spit them out, which is still bad for a character like my Mantis, who doesn't have a mobility, who doesn't have any kind of jump or leap or dash to get back on the map. But it is at least somewhat better because all the other characters can jump back on the map.
I'm very curious to see what the tail of this game is. I mean, it's got such a strong IP. It's got a very strong player base right now. I wonder how much it can maintain that player base to what ends. I will say the content roadmap tells me that they're going to want to stick with this one.
Yeah, what they definitely need to focus on roadmap wise, the characters will be awesome, but we definitely need more maps, more game modes, because there's like 3 maps. There's Asgard, the Wakanda, and the Venom planet. It's like literally 3.
Yeah.
And you have 2 game modes. You have like just conquer the place, or do what the Overwatch thing is escort the payload. So you really only have like 2 different things.
That's insane.
They need to expand on those quickly. And I do think it's another downside to the game where Overwatch came with you have all your premium skins, but there's also like a lot of just basic skins that are just recolors, and they're pretty cheap with the in-game currency. Marvel Rivals doesn't have that.
It's just you spending money, buddy.
It's all premium skins, and like the very few that are just kind of recolors in a way, a little bit different design. They're still kind of expensive, even with in-game currency that you're going to be racking up. And I haven't racked up that much, so it's all focused on either buying expensive skins from the store that are ranging from like $16 to $18 to $20, or the ones in the battle pass that you have to grind for. And even then, you're only getting like 4 skins, and they're for characters you probably don't play. So it's a mixed bag. And in the terms of cosmetic wise, that's probably its biggest downfall is there's no fun cosmetics. Everyone's rocking basic stuff, except for the whales, who would be like, yeah, let's throw $20 for this skin.
And for the record, there are no loot boxes, right?
No.
Yeah,
No,
okay.
no.
I'm out.
That's just so funny how like this is
gamble.
me being jaded and cynical, but like obviously part of the Marvel Rivals like fandom is part of it just happens to be taking shots at Overwatch, which is fine. I get it. It's a competitor in the space, and some people for some reason feel slighted enough by Overwatch to make it their personality to make Marvel Rivals better.
For some reason, you know why.
I mean, I can't relate, but yeah.
You didn't feel anything when they canceled PvE?
It's just, no, I did, but Marvel Rivals doesn't have PvE, so it's not
yes, because it just launched and they didn't promise PvE.
Yeah, they haven't promised.
I'm just saying.
I'm not listening. I'm not the one defending Marvel Rivals. I'm just saying, like, there's reason that a lot of people are jaded by Overwatch.
Sure, but like, I think at this point, get over it.
I ain't over it, buddy. You still there, Bob?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to continue with your point.
No, I mean it was. I mean, it's just I'm just curious to see what like the differences are like because again I haven't actually played the game yet, so I'm just curious what the interaction or like similarities and differences are, and like how much I'm reading like because I can watch people play, which I have, and I'm hearing opinions and stuff, but you know, sometimes I have to take some of these opinions with a grain of salt that I see because I'm like, I don't think you're coming from a very objective place. I think you have an agenda by tweeting this random thing out. But anyway, it does sound like it's going well though, and like I said, once the meta gets a little more stable, I definitely want to jump in and see what's going on.
Yeah.
I will say, Bob, I think that's when it's the most fun is when the meta is not stable. Everyone's just shitting around now.
True.
It kind of reminds me of launch Overwatch, where everyone's like, "Guys, I think Symmetra might be a top 3." It's like those times.
Right.
It'd be interesting to see like what does even the meta look like in here because everyone's just kind of trying out. Obviously, there are characters that are more powerful and easier to use, and that's what everyone's leaning towards. Like Scarlet Witch right now. If you ask me for a meta right now, it's
Oh, that's
Scarlet
just
Witch
Moira.
being. It's Scarlet Witch right now with she does insane damage and she has a nuke as her ultimate, which is gigantic, and you don't get that much time to run away from it, especially because half the roster doesn't even have abilities that makes you go faster or dash away. So that's annoying.
And also, I'd say Iron Man as well because he can
Iron
just
Man,
hover. Yeah.
He hovers so much and he's always in the sky. He doesn't have a cooldown for being in the sky. So you have to be really precise, which on console and controller is a little bit harder. But it's not too bad. I think the aim assist is definitely helping in that regard because I'm Squirrel Girl with a freaking slingshot and I'm knocking Iron Man out of the sky half the time. So not that bad. If I had to pick another character who was better, Hawkeye is doing insane damage. Jeff with his ultimate's kind of ruling.
Venom as well.
Venom is like everyone's favorite tank because he kind of just goes in there, doesn't die, and leaves after doing a bunch of damage. But yeah, that's about it. So I think that's the reason why there is no metas because every character is usable to a degree, and I think that's one of the positive things a lot of people were saying at launch is everyone's like, "Oh, every character is usable to some degree," which I also find kind of funny that, as Jat said, Jat fell right into the trap. Spider-Man's the most iconic character, and yet he's the only character on the roster listed as expert right now in terms of difficulty, and he is the hardest melee character.
Dude,
I'm also surprised at how many melee characters we have in a shooter.
I was looking at his fucking moveset. I'm like, dude, why is there so much on the screen? What the hell?
Some characters definitely do have more because they have like secondary like passives, whereas some other characters like Magic has like nothing. It's just like I have a dash, I have a slash. That's about it.
I just wish there wasn't so much. I wish the text wasn't so small. It feels like it's like impossible for me to read, especially when I'm like, oh wait, what does this ability do again? And I gotta fucking look through, transcribe all the text on screen at once.
Maybe that's why Scarlet Witch is so popular. She has like 4 abilities, and all the text is gigantic because it's so basic.
Exactly.
But you'd look at Overwatch and like the screen I posted. Friggin', they're all their text is just
That's
tiny
the
too.
new character. All right, no one plays current Overwatch.
Hey, wait
I'm
a
talking
second.
about. Listen, man, you look at Reaper, it's like, hey, he has shotguns. Like, oh, okay, I think I know how to play him.
Oh, that's crazy. I just realized, yeah, Marvel Rivals doesn't really have a shotgun character. The closest would be
No, there was Punisher.
Punisher. Yeah, Punisher, but it's like a secondary.
I also I don't know if you guys had this problem. I was trying to go to the training mode to like fuck around with all the characters. It wouldn't let me. It kept like the servers were like fucked up for it. I don't know why.
Oh, really?
Oh, I never had that problem.
Maybe it was like the night I was playing because it was like right when the game was updating, so maybe that's why. But yeah, Marvel Rivals, definitely gonna keep an eye on it. You guys think you're gonna play for a long time?
I think so, but I don't think I'm gonna. I keep thinking like, am I gonna buy the battle pass? Am I gonna invest that much into it? I don't think so, especially the year that we have coming up soon.
Okay.
But I think it'll just kind of like what Fusion says, like he just fools around with friends every couple nights, and that's basically what it is. Because my friend and I have fallen off Marvel Snap pretty hard because they're a dumpster fire right now.
What? The card game? Really?
The card game, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Come over to TCG, Moon.
I can't do TCG. I tried. I hate it.
Dude,
Aw.
I have never fallen. I was like flabbergasted when I heard people talk about how much they love that. I'm like, this is just like opening pack simulator. I don't get it.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm locked in, dude. I am level 24 already. I am obsessed.
Goblet. I got that animated Pikachu card, and I'm like, all right, this is a good place to
So
end it.
sick.
It's sick.
I'm trying to collect the 151. I think I'm like 4 cards away.
Oh hell yeah.
Still not
Yeah.
put a single dollar into the game either.
Yeah, me either.
That's impressive, honestly. To like,
Yeah.
that says a lot about these free to play games. They're just like, yeah, we're fine if a lot of people play it and don't pay because like we kind of make the money off the whales. Which is a little scummy, but also it's like, yeah, I mean, listen, it works out for someone like me if you're not like super predatory about that shit. Anyways, I think that's about it. Unless you guys have anything else you want to update, but I think we're ready to head out.
Oh yeah, we've been way here too long.
Yeah.
Hey, it was a fun episode. Game Awards always going to be a big episode. If you like the podcast, check us out on all your favorite podcast platforms. Like the podcast and follow us on Twitter at A Slice of Gaming. If you guys enjoyed this episode, thank you very much for coming. Hopefully you stick around because Soggies are coming up. Our Game of the Year episode, the first week of January, I think. We're still trying to nail down an exact date, but we'll keep posted. Anyways, I think that's it. Say goodnight, everybody.
They
Good night.